Hello, everyone. Michael Jordan fans are the best. And today we're going to be talking about if the 1992 Olympic team is not as good as the 2024 Olympic team. Um, but first, let's welcome the panel. We've got Angry Old Oops here. How are you today, sir?
Good morning. What are you wearing?
Oh, this is how I usually wake up.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
And then we've got Robin, Sports and Fitness Rants. How are you today, sir?
Oh, you know I'm doing great, man. I've been waiting for this topic. You guys know the deal, man. I was talking about this last night on my channel, man. What's up, Dart? My man AOH, Nick, man. Everybody in the chat, man. You guys know the deal, man. Let's roll.
And then we got Nick, NMB Sports. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing good. Let's get to it.
All right. First, AOH, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
And this is just for the whole panel. Well, first, this is a sidebar question that you don't have to answer. I know that you are the utmost of this, but how do you get your hair so good? Second, does LeBron James have enough help?
Shit. Man, this is how I wake up. I wake up and I piss excellence, and my hair reaches for the sun. I can't keep it down. I couldn't if I wanted to. It's just the way it is. I got a lot of body, a lot of volume. Does LeBron have enough help for? Oh my God, never. But it's funny. It's funny when guys want to start crapping on the past. They'll start lifting guys in the present, and then they'll catch themselves in a contradiction. You know, like talking about how much better Jason Tatum it was than Scottie Pippen, and Anthony Davis is so much better than Ewing. Coward was saying these things. I'm like, huh, that's interesting. And he's saying it like it's not even close. And yet, when it comes to time to look at, well, what kind of help did Jordan have? Suddenly Pippen's a god again. He's nothing compared to Tatum right now. And Tatum, by the way, was what, the fourth option on that fucking Celtics team in the finals. And but he's Scottie Pippen's nothing compared to him in this context. But when it comes time to bring Jordan down, Scotty's a god. Anthony Davis takes the blame constantly, usually, even though he's been carrying LeBron's sorry ass since he got to LA. But in the context of ripping on the 92 Dream Team, Anthony Davis is by far superior to Patrick Ewing. You can't. How can we have a serious conversation if the argument is so inconsistent? I feel like I waste my time, and it gets really frustrating that these are the professionals. It's not just some idiot YouTuber that you can ignore. These are the professionals saying things like this on television.
All right.
I'll cut myself off there. You had two specific questions, and I answered two specific questions. I've got about 3 pages of shit to read about this Dream Team stuff, but so I'll contain myself for the moment.
All right, Robin. Do you think that LeBron James has enough help?
Well, absolutely, LeBron James has enough help. We know he has enough help. LeBron James has always had enough help to win, but somehow, some way, his fans will always make you believe that he hasn't had enough help. But the one thing that I want people to understand, man, and we're going to go through this as we go through this live stream, like my man AOH said, I'm sure he's got a lot more things to say. I want people to understand the reason why I was so upset yesterday about this South Sudan and everything that's been going on with the comparisons between the 92 Dream Team and this Dream Team is I want people to understand yesterday's game, the United States was favored by 43 and a half points. 43 and a half points. I want people to let that sink in for a second. Just let that sink in. 43 and a half points of a favorite. So what does that lead you to believe? What that leads you to believe is that people have a lot of respect for this United States basketball team. And what does that also show you? That the South Sudan should have had no business being in a 1-point victory, a 1-point game with the United States. No business being anywhere in that game. And let's not also forget that LeBron James and Team USA had to come from behind from a double-digit victory. And then what will they say? Yeah, man, the United States came from behind, man, and LeBron James hit the game winner. Why the hell was the game even that close to begin with? It should have never been a contest. This is an exhibition game against South Sudan. What would have happened if the whole country of Sudan showed up? Only the South part showed up, and we won by 1 point? Come on, man. This don't make no damn sense. So that's one thing I want everyone to understand out there in the chat. The United States was heavily, heavily favored, and they won by 1 point. So LeBron James obviously has enough help. They were favored by 43 points. If LeBron James didn't have that much help, or that USA was supposed to be some weak team, or it was just LeBron James and a bunch of also-rans, they wouldn't have been favored by 43 points. They would not have. So I want people to understand that, man. So obviously LeBron James definitely has enough help.
Real fast, I put the overlay up. I think it's got its own charm, or the chat overlay. I just took it down the last time because people were spamming with nastiness. Are you guys good if I keep it up, or?
Yo, it's your show, dog. Let's do it.
Yeah, don't bother me.
As long as there's no
Don't worry, I'll
major
correct the fools in
objection.
the chat. That's what I do.
Nice. All right, here we go. Nick, does LeBron James have enough help?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's favored by 43, right? So it doesn't really matter what anyone says. That says it all. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else people want in terms of this was supposed to be. I mean, I don't want to call it the Redeem Team. What are they? I don't even know what they're calling themselves. But this was supposed to be like a last hurrah. Some of these like superstars that we have currently that are kind of on their way out. It was supposed to be the USA taking it back, right? That was kind of the whole narrative. And to be favored by 43 and you win with a shot with 8 seconds to go, I don't know what to say other than embarrassing, obviously. And, you know, a lot of people will say, well, the world's caught up or whatever, right? Let's just say we give them that argument. Not the South Sudan. The South Sudan has not caught up to the world in terms of basketball prowess, right? I think they were led. Their best player is a 17-year-old Duke commit, I believe. So, I mean, that's their best player going up against our quote-unquote best player, LeBron, and we squeak out a 1-point victory, right? So I don't know what else to call it other than embarrassing. I mean, I just, you know, whenever the Dream Team of 92 came through, they just absolutely run shot through everyone. They had the one hiccup where they lost in that first scrimmage game. the first time they had come together, but obviously they quickly came together and said, enough of this. And it was nothing but just 30-point plus blowouts from there on out. Right. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say other than just obviously a lackluster performance. It's embarrassing. There's really no other way to twist it. Right.
Well,
South
Nick,
Sudan, I went through the roster. The best guy they have is a college commit, right? I mean, that's kind of maybe their best talent that they have right now. So, yeah, I don't have anything else other to say really than that. Obviously, underperformed by a wide margin.
I don't want people to spend too much time worrying about how good or bad South Sudan is or whether or not the world is caught up, because if the world has caught up, we shouldn't be favored by 40, whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
and the world has caught up in a lot of ways, but we were still favored by 40 some points. I mean, the people who made those odds understand where the rest of the world is right now. They're not basing it on the world in 1992. We were still favored by that much based on what people know about the rest of the world today.
I want to say that I think that LeBron didn't have enough help, because why else would they be so close in the score? They can't have anything to do with him. It just has to do everything with the team. I mean, Anthony Edwards said that the reason why they came back and won was LeBron, or that's what that's what the headline said. So, I mean, what else could it be? It can't be that the team may not be functioning very well because they put themselves together. It may not be that they're just kind of going nonchalant and trying to be a face because they got spanked in FIBA by Canada. It can't be any of these things. It just has to be that it's not LeBron's fault, because that's how the world works in the NBA. And with LeBron in general, it's not his fault. It's everyone else's fault. It doesn't matter if you have Joel Embiid as an MVP or prior MVP. And then I can't think off the top of my head who else is on there, but I mean, I think Kevin Durant's on there. Was he 1 or 2 time MVP? You know what I'm saying? Like who else do you need? I mean, we need somebody else. We need somebody else to put him over the edge. That's what I'm saying. Anyway,
always do when it's LeBron. They're always missing somebody. But let me tell you something. I was watching that game closely, and I was filming it with my camera because I can't get a full recording of the game. And the South Sudan expanded their lead when LeBron was in, and then it would shrink when LeBron was out. So I don't want to hear this shit about LeBron won them the game. And yeah, the U.S. Finally got that lead down at the end, but that doesn't change the fact that the situation was worse while LeBron was in. And my God, what a disgusting show from the announcers the whole time. Like, a guy would make a shot from a pass from another teammate, and the announcers literally said LeBron had his fingerprints all over that play. What the hell are you talking about? And the whole game was a suck fest for LeBron. It was like I was listening to Reggie Miller again during the regular NBA season. Is this how we're going to be hearing the Olympics this year? Is it going to be that bad?
Hey, and I want to say something real quick. I'm sorry, Dart.
No, you're good.
I just want to say, we're not disrespecting the South Sudan, man. Much respect to South Sudan for going out there and putting on a show and giving that kind of effort as 43-point underdogs. You lose by 1 point. And we can all say, and look at that last play, they had a really good shot, a legit chance to win that game in exhibition. So there's no disrespect to South Sudan. This is about the USA team and how these guys are not showing up. I want to say something about the 92 Dream Team, man, because that's what this really comes down to. We are disgusted about them trying to compare this team to the 92 Dream Team. And we're disgusted with people trying to say, I have people in my comment section saying that the 92 Dream Team would have got smoked by South Sudan. Are you kidding me? The one thing that the 92 Dream Team had, people forget or they don't realize that, yeah, they were beating teams by 30, 40, 50 points, not only because they were so talented and they were so great individually and collectively. It was because they didn't take any of those teams for granted. The USA Dream Team was not going through the motions. They were going there to prove a point. That's why they beat teams by 40 and 50 points. Remember what Charles Barkley said about Angola? He said, I don't know who Angola is, but they're in trouble. That's what he said. they're in trouble. Not like, oh man, they're nobodies. We're gonna lollygag and go through the motions. That was the main reason, or one of the reasons, the USA was beating teams down, is because they went in there with that mindset. Michael Jordan literally said, we're supposed to dominate. It's our sport. That's the pride that USA should have as it pertains to the sport of basketball. It's our sport. I related to the same thing with soccer. If the United States men were dominating soccer, other countries would feel ashamed of themselves. If Mexico was getting hammered by the USA soccer team, or Argentina, or Brazil, or Italy, or England, some of these other countries have been playing soccer since its inception. That's not our sport. That's a European sport. That's a South American sport. So they would be embarrassed if the United States was beating them down the soccer field that way. But instead, we're trying to act like the United States basketball team. Oh, I keep feeling a win is a win. No, a win is not a win. A win is not a win when you're a 43-point favorite.
I have a question for all three of you.
All right.
It's a fast one. I just want you to answer it real quick. Who anchored the 2008 team, the Redeem team, as they called it?
You
Kobe.
know that answer, AOH. Kobe Bryant.
Okay. Nick, your answer?
Kobe.
Dart?
LeBron.
Stop being a
I'm gonna keep today, though. I'm gonna kill you, man.
Okay, now let me change it just to cover a technicality. If you were to say that it was co-anchored, who co-anchored it?
Dwayne Wade. Right? I think Dwayne Wade had the next best.
Okay,
I mean,
that's
just
Nick's
from a
answer.
statistical standpoint.
Robin?
Yeah, I would say either Dwayne Wade. I'm not sure if Carmelo Anthony was on that team or not, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
would
was.
say one of those guys.
Jason
Dart-
Kidd was another good
Wasn't
one.
wasn't
Oh, yeah,
Dwight
Jason
Howard
Kidd.
wasn't Dwight Howard on that
Absolutely.
team?
Yeah. So here's
I'll
my
just throw a spin. He's defensively Dwight Howard.
here's my point. We remember the 2008 Olympics, and we remember the documentary that Netflix did, and we remember what happened. It was Kobe and Dwayne Wade. You know what the announcer said at the end of that game against South Sudan? That the 2008 Redeem team was anchored by LeBron James and Kobe.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
they are
what
fucking
I
lying
said.
to people on television for this dude still. And this is why I don't think things are going to ever improve. I mean, the guy owns the media. It's a
That's
lie.
pretty sad if that's what they said.
They said it.
That's crazy.
They're complimenting him on lowering his shoulder and shit.
To all y'all's point, there's this narrative out there that LeBron James is one of the best defensive players of all time, or was one of the best defensive players of all time. I even did some research on this. If you go back and you look at articles when he was in the peak form of his defensive stature, they talk about him being a great off-ball defender. And I'm not saying that's not a bad thing. That's an amazing thing. But people pretend like he is the best one-on-one on-ball defender, or at least was at a time. But if you go and you look back at those articles, they'll say that he's just a great off-ball defender, which I believe he was. But people will knock other guys that were great off-ball defenders like Allen Iverson or Magic Johnson and say that they can't play defense. But
Jason Terry, if he's a great on-ball defender.
And you have evidence like that, yeah.
Ask Jones, the 6'1" dude Jones for South Sudan, if LeBron James is a great on-ball defender. I saw that dude go straight in LeBron's face and take him to the hole. Beat LeBron James with skill. 6'1", South Sudan player. Jones. Carleif Jones? Carlick Jones?
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James gets mad because he gets shown up. Charges from one end to the next. Lowers the shoulder, commits an offensive foul. They send him to the free throw line. You guys notice I posted almost at the end of the first half. I was like, the refs are going to keep the USA in this. And it felt weird to be cheering against the USA. But every time South Sudan was about to just blow it open, tweet, just stop the momentum, send the United States to the free throw line. I hate that style of basketball. And it's become a thing now. It's a NBA thing. It's like, well, manipulate the refs, manipulate the free throw line, just get to the foul line and stop the game, stop the momentum. It's not about actually trying to score or play basketball. It's about manipulating the clock, manipulating momentum, manipulating the refs. It's not good basketball.
Well, they were even saying in respect to they said I read some meme or something on Instagram. They said that the refs within the game were that they should change the NBA's rules to FIBA rules because they were stopping Joel Embiid from flopping. Now I didn't watch the game, but for the people that did Joel Embiid not get away with as much flopping, if you want to call it offensive flopping?
I felt like Joel Embiid barely existed. I don't really remember him doing anything.
Yeah.
I did see that video of him flopping in the practice, though. I will say that. There was a clip of him, like he was at maybe like the elbow or something, and he kind of catches it and pivots once or twice, and then when he goes to shoot, he like falls back. You know, they're playing against like 19-year-olds, you know, so it's just a bad look.
Dude, South Sudan had 17-year-olds on the floor.
Yeah, that's that guy I mentioned that's committed to Duke, who's like a top prospect. That's a 17-year-old. That's like that's the talent that they got on Sudan.
You remember LeBron James cried during the Redeem Team documentary that they were just kids. He was 20 years old at the time. You can talk about kids. Now you're playing against 17-year-olds.
Yeah, I know that 2004 team was that, you know, it sucked that a lot of people dropped out. I honestly started watching that documentary and it just we get accused of being a glaze channel over here, but it was such a glaze fest. I couldn't even watch the whole documentary of the Redeem Team. I watched like part of the first episode, and for me, it was just too much. Like I couldn't watch that. It was, but my question in regards to but to follow up with that 2004 team, I think a lot of the issues that it had was that a lot of the players that committed dropped out at the last second. And I like to say that they were just kids. They were still arguably the best in the world with the reputation of the United States having the best basketball players, let alone these guys playing in the NBA. So, you know, I don't really understand that aspect because I didn't see LeBron James cry about it. But
one thing I was thinking about, and maybe this is like a specific basketball Olympic thing. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it does seem to me like guys pick and choose the years they want to play or like when the Olympics matter. You know, like we lose one and it's like, oh, we're going to come back and put a team together. And then we lose one. It's like, oh, we got to come back and take it. Right. And I guess to me, like, it's just hard to get hyped for like the basketball Olympics anymore. Don't get me wrong. I still want us to win. It's nothing like that. But I guess it's just hard when it feels like players pick and choose when it matters. Right. And so, I don't know, like that's one thing I've been thinking of lately is just sort of, it kind of just takes the hype away from it because it feels like, I mean, these guys kind of want to be there, but not really, but sometimes, but now it matters, now it doesn't. I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's kind of soured me a little bit on specifically the basketball USA team.
I don't get the sense that they're doing it for country. You know, these are individuals that are thinking about their stock. And how whether playing for the Olympic team on this year or that year improves their stock, you know, and that's just reality. And I guess I have to accept that, except that then you'll have to hear some emotional BS come from their corner about, oh, it meant so much to me to bring this home for the country. I'm like, you don't give a fuck about that. You don't. I'm sorry. I know I'm the grouch on here, but just stop lying. Just stop lying to our faces all the time. You don't care. You don't care about what this means for the United States. You care about what this means for you and your brand.
And yo, Nick, you're right about that. And that's what I was alluding to when I said about the pride. Where's the pride for the United States? When Michael Jordan and the rest of the 92 Dream Team went to Barcelona, if they would have been beating teams by 10 or 15 points, it would not have been impressive at all. It would not have been impressive if they were beating teams by 5 points or any of those things. But like we said, they went out there to prove a point. They went out there to dominate and put on a show. That's part of the reason why the game went global, because the USA basketball team lived up to the hype. They lived up to the hype. People were blown away by the way they were able to play the game, the pizzazz, the flash that they showed, the teamwork. I don't know if you guys heard LeBron James, but he's already making excuses, saying, oh, you know, we've only been playing for a couple of weeks, and that's why we got to figure things out still. You ever hear Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, or Larry Bird, or David Robinson, or any of these guys ever say, yeah, well, you know, we only beat Croatia by 20 because we've only been together for a couple of days? No. This is the skills, the fundamentals, the veteran savvy of those players. You still have people talking about how old Larry Bird was in 92. Give me Larry Bird in 92 over almost everybody on this current USA team, man. Because once again, Larry Bird's game was never predicated on strictly athleticism. Larry Bird's game was predicated off the skills, the fundamental, and the heart and the grit, the effort that Larry Bird gave on the court. You mentioned something earlier about the defense and some guys help defense. Larry Bird, to me, was a greater help defender than LeBron James was because Larry Bird was more consistent as a help defender. How many times you seen LeBron James just stand there with his hands on his hips? He ain't playing no help defense. He's just standing around. So much respect to the 92 Dream Team, man, once again, for going out there and playing with that sense of pride.
Real fast, you got Thanos saying, how much does it cost for a super chat? We've got a smaller show today, so if you got a super chat, then
you can send me 1 penny. You can send 1 penny super chat. That's possible. I don't know if it's possible. Send 1 penny.
Yeah, we'll just stop the show because we got a smaller panel here. But I got a question for all y'all though. And I guess we'll start with AOH. Do y'all think that they assembled this team just because of the embarrassing FIBA loss that they had last summer? And do you find it to be a trend that they go and they try to bring this up that, oh, we're the best only when it comes to the Olympics and the World Games? They don't care about FIBA. Do you think that they assembled this team to try and say we're the best because of the FIBA loss?
I'll answer real quick. I'll be honest, FIBA doesn't really concern me as much as the Olympics. I'll be honest with that. Because Olympics, it's like once every 4 years. The NBA is our FIBA, right? So that's why I'm saying I don't necessarily worry about FIBA as much. But I think Olympics every 4 years, I think it's a little different. It's a little more nationalistic. I think it's a little more important to the average American, right? So I'll be honest, the FIBA thing, I mean, it'd be kind of cool maybe if we just did college players or like the best high school players. I'd be okay with that. But when it comes to the Olympics, like I want to crush it every time the Olympics comes around.
Nick, the FIBA happens every 4 years, just like the Olympics.
Right, but I was just meant like it's not. I see the NBA as our FIBA, right? I guess FIBA is sort of like, to me, it comes off like another league for everyone else in a way. I know that's kind of like dismissive, but I just think Olympics and the NBA is like their Olympics and their FIBA in a way.
I think your question made me think about something else. I wish the guys would care about playing for Team USA when it's the best time for them to help Team USA and not when it's the best time for them or to come back and redeem. Because I'd like to see a changing of the guard. I'd like to see this generation of NBA go to the Olympics or college players, whoever qualifies for the team, but it's always going to be NBA players. And then let's move on, or maybe the next Olympics, but not year after Olympics after Olympics, going and plucking guys from different times. I don't know. I feel like it'd be braver if you'd let a certain group of guys go and do what they can for the country, and then let the next group come through and do what they can for the country.
What do you think, Robin?
Like I said, man, basketball is supposed to be our sport. So where the hell's the pride? We should be dominant. I don't give a damn if it's a pickup game at the elementary school down the block. The team in USA, we should be kicking butt. We should be dominating that sport, man. I don't give a damn. Yeah, are we going to always win every single game? Yeah, maybe not, right? Because these are professionals. They have pride in their country too, these guys, right? That's why South Sudan showed up. They got pride in their country of South Sudan. But as far as the United States goes, as far as basketball, damn it, we should be dominating and we should want to dominate. I can't harp on this enough, guys. The 92 Dream Team was beating teams by 40 and 50 because they did not take these guys for granted. They didn't laugh at these guys' names. Remember, a lot of these teams were taking pictures before the game. They were asking for autographs before the game even started. They were starstruck by a lot of these guys, man. Why is that? because of the standard that guys like Michael Jordan upheld, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, David Robinson, Karl Malone. They had fans all over the world, man, because of the way they played the game, man. So these teams were honored to play against them. So how do you think those guys would have felt if the United States was out there lollygagging against them and taking a joke against them? No, I'll never forget, man, what Tony Kukoc said when Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were attacking him on the court. I'll never forget this, man. This is one of the great statements from Tony Kukoc that lets you know where he was at mentally and how much of a competitor he was. He said he went to the sideline and he said his teammates were like, yo, man, these guys are really all over you, man. They're playing you hard. Remember, Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan took it personal, were going at him. And Tony Kukoc's response to his teammates was this: I guess that's how they play defense in the NBA. That's what he said to them. I guess that's how they play in the NBA, because the NBA was the standard. And now all of a sudden, we're not the standard. So you have Luka Doncic and Giannis and Jokic saying what? The NBA is easier than EuroLeague. They literally say that with a straight face. They would never say that in the 90s. They would have never said, yo, the EuroLeague is harder than the NBA. It would have never been like that, because the NBA was the standard. And that's why we should have been dominating these guys, man. People are trying to say that the 92 Dream Team would have lost to South Sudan. The South Sudan would have got their asses kicked by the Croatian team in 92 with Tony Kukoc, Drazen Petrovic. I believe Dino Raja was on that team. They were a quality team, man. They were probably the next best team after the United States in 92. That team would have beat down South Sudan yesterday, man. The Croatian team. And the USA team beat them down. Beat them down. Why? Because they didn't take those guys lightly. They took it personal. I'll never forget Michael Jordan. Chuck Daly said they were out playing golf. 36 holes of golf Michael Jordan played. And then they went to play Puerto Rico. And Chuck Daly wanted to give Michael Jordan a break and make him guard the off guard. Michael Jordan's like, no, I'm guarding the point guard. And Chuck Daly was like, why are you guarding the point guard? Guard the shooting guard. He's like, no, I'm guarding the point guard because he was talking about me in the papers. They took it serious. He didn't think Puerto Rico was a joke because it's from a small island or this guy you didn't know who he was. They took it personal against those guys.
I wanted to say about the FIBA thing before we read these super chats is that LeBron had to come back and save the United States, to come back for, what is this, his third or fourth time? Those young guys, he couldn't just let them have their shine. He couldn't let the young guys of for the Olympics have their shine either. The United States needed LeBron because that's what he does, is that he is the star of everything. He doesn't he needs to have all the shine on him. He can't let the other guys grow and develop. But I want to say with the FIBA thing, because I vehemently disagree with you, Nick. FIBA in itself is the biggest it's called the FIBA World Cup. It is the World Cup of basketball. So I'm not saying that, that your opinion is wrong, but I disagree. And I think that it should get a lot more respect by the basketball players around the world and the United States because of the importance it has into the international play of basketball. It is the game of basketball for the world outside of the Olympics. And I really just find it nasty that it seems like these teams, the United States won't do well in FIBA. And they say, well, okay, well, we're just going to show out in the Olympics. I understand the Olympics is a bigger format, a bigger forum for basketball, but it's just disgusting to me to have all these guys show up and collaborate to go do this because they don't in respect that they're not going to put the time to play in FIBA, but they're going to come out and say for the Olympics, oh, well, even though we suck internationally or not as good as that, we're just dominating with golds and that we're going to have to show out right now in the Olympics that we're too good for this. And I just think it's disingenuous in respect to the basketball world.
Let me be clear about FIBA, though. Competitively, I do think FIBA is on the level of the Olympics. I just think, like you were kind of, I think AOH mentioned like the passing of the torch. It just would be nice to sort of put like our best college players or best guys on some kind of world stage. I guess that's just me. Like if I'm trying to, I don't know, market and grow basketball, I do think putting our best college guys on some kind of world stage is pretty cool. So I was just thinking in my head, like it would be cool if like the pros simply took the Olympics seriously, and then maybe we could showcase our amateurs as well in the FIBA. That's kind of what I was thinking. there's no disrespect from FIBA to me. I guess it's just how do we want to play it, right? And if we obviously just want to win both of those every 4 years, right? FIBA and the Olympics, then I'm all for that too. I just think maybe it's a better sell to say, hey, the Olympics is y'all's thing, and we're going to showcase the best college players. Because remember, the Olympics used to be just college talent, if I remember correctly, or it's been like that before the 92 Dream Team, right? Which I think is cool. I think there is something to that, but don't get it twisted. I think FIBA is just as hard as the Olympics, maybe even more so because it's even more kind of national, even maybe more so on basketball, right? It might be even more guys go back to their home countries and truly play in FIBA, maybe even more than the Olympics, right? So there's no disrespect to FIBA. I was just thinking of how it would be cool to kind of mix those two things up.
Well, never forget.
Real fast, AOH, because I want to read these super chats. But for Nick, yeah. But the thing is that they said that they want to come to the Olympics because they lost in FIBA. That's what bothers me.
Right. But I don't like that. I don't agree with that angle either.
Yeah. But we got these super chats from AO12345 saying this U.S. Olympics team doesn't deserve even a penny. Again, if you're super chatting somebody, please say who it's for. But thank you for the super chat. Thanos Snaps Feminism sends it to AOH, and he asks the question to you. Will you be making a recap of the Sudan game? Can everyone give their response to Joel Embiid's comments in the New York Times? He made the comment because the media was trying to blame him.
I started it, and then I was just like so disgusted that I stopped. Maybe if I get in a good workout, I'll have the energy to do the Sudan game. If anyone knows where I can get the full recording, please put that in the comments. But sure, Thanos, for you, I'll do it. And thank you for the super chat. I don't know what Embiid said. I mean, people like Embiid don't deserve me to pay attention to their words. Most of these NBA guys, their words are hollow, empty, meaningless. Never forget.
I just Googled it real quick, and it looks like Joel Embiid believes he could have been the GOAT. I think that's the title or the synopsis of the New York Times article.
I don't know if it sounds like a joke.
I know.
But it's actually possible that he would say something that dumb. I'm so tired of people declaring what they might have been or could be. The whole world gets to play that game. Either be that person or don't, or shut up. My God.
I didn't see the article either. I have no comment about it.
Embiid is a slow motion, half-ass effort, spoiled brat. I can't stand watching Embiid. Never forget that Michael Jordan led the United States and a bunch of other college kids to the gold as a college player. LeBron James, as an NBA professional on a super team, once they started stacking the team with pros, is the one who introduced the United States to the bronze medal. And these, you know what they do? They always want to talk about, they just assume that people from the past weren't as athletic or that they were old and washed up. And the problem is you didn't go look before you agreed with it. Because, man, those guys were impressive. Those guys were impressive. And Charles Barkley, he could use some more muscle tone to pass the eye test. But, man, that guy could jump. Man, that guy could dunk. I mean, athleticism goes way beyond gym muscles. So stop judging based on that. And here's the thing. Whether 92 Dream Team was more talented or today's team was more talented, I'll tell you one thing. I know who's going to show up every night. I know who's not going to.
Great point, AOH.
I know I don't have to worry about who's not going to suit up for a mental issue or a physical issue. These old washed up men played every game and you weren't even worried about it. You never even wondered, I wonder if not everyone will be suiting up. Nope. Didn't have to worry about shit like that back then.
I want to say something real quick. I'm sorry, Dart.
No, I was going to say, do you want to follow up to that?
No, I just wanted to add something. I don't think a lot of people realize why the pros came into the Olympics in 1992. There was a reason behind that. Because in 1988, the USA was gypped in the Olympic play. And don't forget, the Europeans, these foreign teams, They were sending their professionals, grown men, to play against 18, 19-year-old kids. They were sending grown men, and how were they doing that? Because of a loophole in the system. Instead of those guys putting down as their professional basketball players, they were putting down that they were soldiers, construction workers, things like that. That's what they put down as their profession. So they were allowed to play in the Olympics under the guise that was their job. But meanwhile, these guys were professional basketball players in the profession on the levels overseas. So we had amateurs going to play against grown men. So that was why they instituted the professionals in 92, because it was almost like, how dare you guys try to act this way, finagling the rules. So 92 was also part of the reckoning for the rest of the world. That's why the Olympic team went out there and dominated the way they did. It was a reckoning. We wanted to show the United States, oh, you want to send your pros? Well, we're going to send our pros, and then let's see how you guys do. And all of a sudden, it wasn't a mismatch. And I keep hearing people talk about the world caught up to the United States. And we've talked about this before, guys. The world can only catch up to the United States if we're standing still. The game has not been pushed forward in quite some time now. Over the last 10 years, we have regressed in the NBA. In America, we've gone downhill. So what do we talk about? The lack of fundamentals from a lot of these guys. This is why they're carrying the ball. They're traveling all up and down the court. What happened to the defensive intensity? And wait, you just mentioned the effort, guys showing up. Kevin Durant, I see people in the comments talking about, yo, who's going to guard Kevin Durant at 92? Who's going to guard Kevin Durant? He's not even on the court. Why the hell we need to guard him? But you're going to sit there and tell me that Scottie Pippen couldn't lock Kevin Durant down? If Scottie Pippen picked up Kevin Durant, the full length of the court, Kevin Durant would not know what to do. This is the same Kevin Durant that couldn't even dribble the ball up the court against Marcus Smart and the Boston Celtics a couple of years ago in the playoffs. The men averaged like 6 turnovers a game, but they're sitting there, who's going to guard Kevin Durant? Scottie Pippen would do fine against Kevin Durant. Michael Jordan would do fine against Kevin Durant. There would be no problem. But once again, Kevin Durant's not out there. You know Larry Bird didn't miss any games. They talk about Larry Bird, how old he was. He didn't miss any games. Larry Bird didn't sit out. He played the entire Olympics, man. And Larry Bird was out there laying on his stomach with a bad back. And why? Because he cared. It mattered to him. These guys were out there giving it their all, man. These people don't know the deal about the 92 Dream Team. And one more thing I want to add on to that. Why do you think people keep bringing up 1992? These fools like Nick Wright, all these other people? Because they know that Michael Jordan is the standard. Why didn't they bring up 96 Dream Team? Why didn't they bring the 2000 Dream Team? All these other Dream Teams. They brought Michael Jordan's Dream Team because they know that he's still the standard.
All right, Nick, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I noticed that LeBron took the most shots, had the most points in the game. I also think, just as a quick recap, if Team USA, I think if that is the formula for winning every night, I don't feel very confident, right? The LeBron fans will say that proves how good he is. I don't think so. I think if this is the best offensive guy we have, shooting the most shots and scoring the most points, I don't think that's a recipe for success. So we'll see what happens.
If he hadn't made those 2 3-pointers, I would have had a much more vicious video, because otherwise it was layups or wide open dunks that were compliments of his teammates as usual. But you know, those 2 3-pointers, you know, I'm mad because that's not that common for him. So to your point, Nick, if they're going to allow LeBron to be their 3-point shooter, you're going to run into some problems, especially if they call it by the rules, because LeBron James tends to take 2 steps walking into his 3-point shot, which he did yesterday.
Real fast, we got a super chat from Janet Kennels for $5 to me. Thank you. He says they shouldn't have needed to allow pros in 92, seeing as most of the team was full-time plumbers and firemen.
Yeah, it was the other country's plumbers against ours, I guess.
Yeah, and it's, you know, those guys that just came off the street, you know, were working 3 jobs while they were playing pro basketball, traveling all around the country. You know, they can be in 5 places at once. The most expert plumbers and firemen of all time. And this is something that really grinds my gears, though, is that I didn't say it as good as I could have with this face on, but the is that when you go and they go and they talk about the plumbers and firemen, Michael Jordan is the is one of the greatest, if not greatest, individual shoe salesman of all time. So is he a shoe salesman or was he a pro basketball player? Just because these guys owned companies or did work with these companies during the off season, how are you going to disrespect them from being the best basketball players in the world at the time? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Sports and fitness rants brought up Bird, brought up Kevin Durant. I want to say a couple of things. If Kevin Durant tried to block Karl Malone's dunk, Ewing's dunk, David Robinson's dunk, he'd have his arm broken. I don't want to hear these people that didn't watch those guys talk about athleticism. They would have fucking ended him. Secondly, Larry Bird, there's no question that the guy was battling through a bad back. He was laying on the side in between plays. But guess what he did when he went in? He played well. He delivered when he went in. And he had the decency to retire when he was supposed to retire. But he played well right up until he retired. I looked up something. That season before he retired, he averaged 20.2 points, 9.6 rebounds, 6.8 assists, but only played 45 games because of his back problems. The season before, he played 75 games. You know, it's not like he was a load manager. He was reduced by his back, played 30 games less the next year because of his back problems. And he said, yeah, that's not cool. I'm going to retire. LeBron James played 45 games in 2021. And we had to listen to people call him the Iron Man at the same time. Have the decency to retire like Larry Bird did. He got up to 55 games in 2019, 56 in 2022, 55 in 2023. LeBron James, you effectively retired 5 years ago. And we got to see commercials about him battling father time. Have some decency and go out the way that Bird did, but it's too late for that.
All right, I got another super chat from Brian Pumper for $5. It says, so it looks like Clutch Sports already has their scapegoat Embiid if USA fails. These clowns will not hold him accountable, not my goat. Yeah, I mean, it would be Joel Embiid's fault because it can't be LeBron's or the team at large. It's got to be Joel Embiid's fault. I can't see it any differently through my lensless glasses like LeBron's.
No accountability. No accountability. How the hell are you a 43.5 point favorite? You win by 1 point, and people out here talking about LeBron James out there cooking. Come on, man, stop it. We just said earlier the USA came back from the deficit with LeBron James on the sideline. On the sideline. Listen, no one's rooting against the United States. My problem is, do not compare this team to the 92 team. It's not comparable in any shape, or form, or fashion. There's no way, no how. And I want to say something about Magic Johnson real quick, because once again, these people love to tear down Magic Johnson and Larry Bird as being old. Magic Johnson was in the finals in 1991. We know he had to retire because of the HIV for the 92 season, but a lot of people forget Magic Johnson was allowed to come back for the NBA All-Star game in 1992, just a few months before the Olympics started. And Magic Johnson won the All-Star game MVP by putting on, to me, in 1992, that's my favorite All-Star game of all time. I remember that game so fondly as a child, man, in 92. Magic Johnson, I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about that. Magic Johnson was special in that 92. And what I remember most about that game is everything that Magic Johnson put up, it went in. Every shot he took went in. On cue, he was going one-on-one with Michael Jordan at the end of that game. He was going one-on-one with Isaiah Thomas at the end of that game. That was one of the special moments in NBA All-Star Game history, and that was a couple of months before the Olympics started. Magic Johnson, remember, it was Magic Johnson's team versus Michael Jordan's team in Monte Carlo, where they said it's the greatest game ever played. The greatest game ever played. It was Magic Johnson leading his team versus Michael Jordan's team. Magic Johnson was nowhere near washed up or old or anything like that, man.
I was just about to say, if Magic Johnson was washed up, nobody told him because he was talking shit to Michael Jordan. In his mind, he was still on the level and still competing. And don't tell any of the teams that Team USA played against because Magic Johnson looked pretty damn good to me.
I wanted to go back to the premise and the title of this video. So obviously, the Olympic Games have not officially started yet, but they're doing the preliminaries. Through the Olympics, AOH, do you, or actually, I'll start with Nick and we'll go the other way. Nick, do you think that this 2024 USA Olympic team has the potential and will be better than the 92 Dream Team or not?
Oh, potential. They'd have to do
And
some.
will, it's a two-part question.
I don't think. No, I don't think in terms of the mystique and the aura and legacy wise, it's not even close. That 92 Dream Team is just the stuff of legends, right? The stuff you talk about. Like, is it possible, right? If they beat everyone by 100 points, right, through the Olympics, could it possibly be more impressive in a way? I suppose, but obviously, I don't think that's going to happen, right? And ultimately, no. Like, is the potential there? Well, I guess, or else we wouldn't be even questioning it, right? So, I mean, it's still up to them if they want to go down as some amazing team that just totally pulled it together, started figuring it out, and just dominated everyone by 50 points. It's possible. It'd be really nice to see, but that's not going to happen, right? So obviously my answer is no, but potential is potential, right? So let's watch and see, but obviously I don't think they're going to reach that watermark.
What do you think, Robin?
I mean, listen, I think when we think about the Dream Team, I think everyone honestly knows that you can't beat the original Dream Team. And it's not because it's the original. This is not like, oh man, they're the first Dream Team, so you can't beat them. No, because of the cast of players that was on that team. People are underestimating. If you go back and you watch some of the games and you look at the way these guys played, I mean, look at Larry Bird throwing behind the back passes. I mean, just doing sensational things. These guys rarely miss shots. They didn't take any bad shots. They had the game from the perimeter to the inside. That was one of the biggest strengths that people don't talk about with a lot of these current iterations of the Olympic team. They don't have the down low presence. We've talked about that. In the NBA, there are no more big men. So who the hell is guarding David Robinson? Who the hell's guarding Carter Malone? Who the hell's guarding Patrick Ewing? Who's guarding Charles Barkley? No one's been going to be able to guard these guys. But you still have the John Stocktons. You have the Chris Mullin with the perimeter shot, the Larry Birds. You have the leadership of Michael Jordan, of Magic Johnson, the veteran savvy of a Larry Bird. I mean, my goodness, man, when you talk about top to bottom, not to mention the intensity, the all-around play of someone like a Scottie Pippen, man, and not to even mention Chuck Daly, who never gets mentioned among the ranks of all-time great coaches, man, and a guy who knows how to handle personalities and galvanize team, man. This man did not call a single time out. Not one single time out in all of Olympic play. Or is this Dream Team or this Olympic team, are they going to go all the Olympics without calling a timeout? Hell no. Hell no. So once again, there's no way for this current team to ever be compared to the 92 Dream Team or to supersede them. It's not possible. Once again, they should be comparing this team to some of the current teams, maybe the 2016 team or the 2012 team. But the only team, in my estimation, that has any business being compared to the 92 Dream Team, I would either say either the Dream Team 2 or maybe the Redeem Team in 2008, man. Other than that, no one comes close. Not even close.
What do you got to say, OH?
I just realized that question, whether they have the potential to be as good as the 92 team, is why I had written down my thoughts about we don't know who's going to show up. Let's say that we were capable of putting the 92 team against this current team. The current team is made up of guys with mental weaknesses that you almost wonder if they're going to come up with an excuse not to show up and be like, oh, I can't play this game or I can't play that game after they get humiliated, after they get their ribs bruised by Karl Malone, after they get dunked on by David Robinson, after Michael Jordan takes it personally and just humiliates all of them. All of a sudden, oh, I have a family issue. I can't play the next game. Hey, that's who we're dealing with now. It sounds like I'm being extreme, but you got to admit, it is a possibility. That's an actual possibility with today's players. I have a contusion after getting humiliated. Oh, I have a contusion. I'm not going to compete in the next game.
Yeah, for me, I think they have the potential, especially with LeBron. This is lit. I'm lit. I'm lit. This is Ledart here, with my lensless glasses.
Is that your evil twin? Is that what you're doing? You're putting on
Bizarro
your evil
dart.
twin?
Yeah. No, but I mean, I think it's clear that they have a really heavy team. I think that this is probably outside of the teams mentioned, outside of maybe the 92 Dream Team, the '08 and the 96 teams, that this might be the most star populated one for modern day NBA players. I think they got the potential to do it, but I think everyone's on board. It's a tall tale to actually reach those heights, especially with uh, the the world per se catching up with the talent of the United States. I mean, they have that French team with Wembenyama and Gobert, amongst other great teams that are out there. The Canada team that won FIBA, so it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen though. I think it's too tall of a tale to ask for. I think the '92 Dream Team was a I think the greatest assembly of talent of all time, and they were in the right place at the right time to just show out against the entire world. I don't think that they can catch up to it. But real fast, let me go and read some of these super chats. So we got compare health, life, and dental insurance solutions.
Oh man.
Yo, we need to get sponsored by this guy and get some free dental or something.
Yep. We drink too much Gatorade around here. I don't know if we'd be covered for all of that. But he says Karl Malone was a trucker in the offseason. If the world in 1984 was plumbers, don't matter because beat NBA All Stars in pre-Olympic scrimmages 8-0. I'm not entirely sure exactly 8-0 scrimmages 8-0. Maybe you're talking about just in total of the games won, but thank you for the super chat. I think that went to Robin, but I'm not sure what went to.
Yeah,
What's
I
up?
think he was talking about in '84 when the Olympic team was playing against the NBA All Stars, and they were doing those exhibitions, those scrimmages to get the NBA. The '84 Olympic team, the amateurs, ready for the Olympics. And there's something else I want to add on to that a lot of people probably don't remember. In the 1984 Olympic trials, when they were going against those All-Stars, the collection of All-Stars, Larry Bird was on that team, Isaiah Thomas was on that team, Clyde Drexler was on that All-Star team, and a bunch of other really good NBA All-Star players. The amateurs, the '84 Olympic team with guys like Patrick Ewing, Michael Jordan, these guys were beating down the All-Stars so badly that supposedly Oscar Robertson, who was the coach of that All-Star team, and Bobby Knight was the coach of the Olympic team. We all know they got into a heated confrontation. They had to hold Bobby Knight back from coming at Oscar Robertson. He wanted to fight Oscar Robertson. And why was that? Because Oscar Robertson supposedly told the NBA All-Stars to physically beat Michael Jordan in the practices, in those scrimmages, because Michael Jordan and the other amateurs were embarrassing them out there. So if you guys remember, if you ever seen that photo, go Google it right now. Google Mike Dunleavy Sr. smacking Michael Jordan in his face. You'll see a whole hand over Michael Jordan's face during one of those Olympic scrimmages. And supposedly that was at the beginning of the game. And Bobby Knight refused to put Michael Jordan back in the game because he was worried about Michael Jordan being hurt by the NBA All-Stars. And that's why he went at Oscar Robertson. A lot of people don't even remember these things, or they don't know or care to know about these things, man. They were trying to beat the amateur kids. They try to make the game physical, and they were trying to hurt Michael Jordan because they were out there getting embarrassed, man. So shout out to my man for the super chat.
There's another super chat, not addressed to anybody specifically. AOA, or I'll read it, but I think it's just a statement. For $10, not comparable at all. And 92 other teams were so in awe of being on the court with the Dream Team that they were smiling, losing by 50, taking pictures. Today, these guys see USA as weak and looking to win. Yeah, I mean, I know it was mentioned that South Sudan was asking for autographs, but I think it was a whole nother level back then, like just from the outside looking in. I mean, these not necessarily that the players on South Sudan had the pro players like other teams, but I think that's a great point. I think the entirety of it was just a giant. I know somebody who actually was a cameraman during the Barcelona Olympics, and he was I actually did an interview with him on one of my channels or one of my prior videos, and he had said that it was just a vibe per se, as the kids say. It was something spectacular. But thank you for the super chats down to whoever it went to. And then Thanos snaps feminism. I'm guessing this has to be for AOH. $5. I put Embiid's quote below about LeBron not being what he used to be. It's at the end of the article, 411 words. I don't know if you want to. I guess Embiid said that he wasn't what he used to be. What do you have to say about that, AOH?
I put Embiid's quote below about LeBron not being what he used to be. It's at the end of the article. Okay, I don't know what you mean by below, but I'll go find it. Look, I'll address it, Thanos. I'll include it in my Sudan video.
I got it right here if you want me to say it real
Oh,
quick.
sure.
Do you have any doubt about who's going to win the gold medal? That's what they asked him. He said, you look at the talent that the U.S. has, but there's equal talent on other teams. The talent that is on the U.S. team, you also got to understand most of those guys are older. The LeBron now is not the LeBron that was a couple of years ago. So it's a big difference. Everybody would also tell you, you can see for yourself, the athletic LeBron dominant that he was a couple of years ago is not the same that he is now.
Embiid said this?
Yeah, and he goes, I think people get fooled by the names on paper, but those names have been built throughout their career, and now they're older. They're not what they used to be.
Man, this says so much. I mean, I obviously don't think highly of LeBron, but your teammate doesn't need to say anything like that no matter who you are in the middle of the Olympics. And especially, you shouldn't be thinking that. And that's not good if you are thinking that. And we simultaneously have the story that everybody voted, or that they voted LeBron as the best player on the team, when in fact it wasn't even the starting team that conducted or participated in that vote. But you know, what a contradiction. You know, this guy's saying, oh, he's not who he used to be. First of all, saying a couple of years ago is misleading, because LeBron has been pretty bad for a good 5 years and has literally been using the Lakers squad to help him stat pad. I mean, I can show with definitive proof that the Lakers lose games that they should have won because they were catering to the LeBron James and putting the ball in the hands of a guy who can't close and who turns the ball over at the end. And by the way, has cost you many points because he can't play defense. Stop pretending like he's still great just because of the stat padding. But nevertheless, I think it's weird that Embiid would say that. I mean, these sound like people who need a built-in excuse. You know, they don't sound like confident guys that are ready to go out and smash the rest of the world. They're like, oh, you know, the rest of the world's pretty good and we're kind of old, so you know, who knows what'll happen. Oh, yay. Wow, I'm really stoked, Embiid. Thanks for the quote.
Real fast. So I'm just gonna put it out there. We got these a-holes.
Uncut Hoops, what up, Uncut Hoops?
Oh yeah, well, welcome Uncut Hoops as well. But we got these a-holes in the chat that keep putting slurs in. I'm gonna just mass blue wrench people moving forward that I know that are regularly coming up to the show, because I can't, I'm taking them down as they come, that I see them, but I'm trying to do super chats amongst other things. Here's this asshole Sid. I'm gonna curse because
Yo, this is what happens when you start blowing up, man, and you start making good content.
Seems more like a bot thing. I don't know. Who knows, right? Who knows? Someone's sending them to us or what? But I try to keep an eye on my chat, and if I see it, I try to get rid of it.
So
I can't do anything off my cell phone, guys. I'm powerless here, man.
Because I like the overlay. A lot of people like the overlay where all the channels have the same chat, but it's just the slurs coming up on there, and that's why I took it down the last couple times. So I'm just going to mass blue wrench people that I know have been longtime fans of the show that watch, so they can help me with this, because I can't do it all. Sadly, I'm not LeBron.
Yo, my man Uncut Hoops, he made a good point about the Croatian team that we were talking about earlier, and the players that were on that team, the Hall of Fame caliber players that were on that team, and how they only allowed 85 points against that particular team. And I said earlier, that Croatian team in 92 would beat the South Sudan. I'm not going to say they'll blow them out by 50 or 40, but they were a better team, man. So much respect to my man Uncle Hoops. Thank you for coming through the chat, man. I saw your video earlier today, man. You continue to do good work, man. So shout out to him for coming through, man.
Tony
Yep.
Kukoc played for Croatia. Is that right?
Yeah, Tony Kukoc, Drazen Petrovic, and Dino Raja were the 3 Hall of Famers that were on that team, man. And Tony Kukoc was amazing at that time. And Drazen Petrovic, we all know that he was in his prime at that time. And we all know what he would have been if he didn't have the tragic death in the accident.
Okay. Real fast, I'm going to drop the link and the easiest way for the people that haven't called in before is to come to my channel. And if you like the show, if you could please subscribe on the way in and subscribe to everybody else that's in the show as well if you haven't already. We all appreciate if you do that, and to hit the like buttons on whatever video you're watching here. But I'm dropping the link on my channel if you'd like to call in.
Yeah, tell all these fools to call in, man. Tell that fool sports talk that's in the chat. This dude always loves to comment, but you don't want to call up, man. Call the hell up. I keep waiting for you fools to call up to the Sunday live show. You guys never show up, man. You guys hide behind your keyboards, man. You guys are soft and feminine. Call up, put your face on camera, and let's do it. I'll destroy you fools, man. Yo, Steven Torres. How about Steven Torres call up? Have Steven Torres call up. You've been doing a lot of talking about me in the comments, Steven Torres. So I'll wait for you to call up. Find your balls, man. Take your dress off. Put down the purse. Take your Crocs off. Take off your sleep mask. And get on here and call the show, man. I dare you. I dare you.
Hey, let's watch the slander on Crocs, okay? Let's
you hurt my feelings when you talk about sandals.
Those are the people that are call in and drop slurs.
Jason the Kid, call up. You keep saying I'm easy work, but you're never anywhere to be found when it's time to make a call.
Stop acknowledging these idiots.
Where are you?
We got Brian Pumper. He sent me a $5 super chat. He said Embiid slandering LeBron and saying he's the number one option off the bench, and Kawhi mysteriously cut. Keep in mind this is under LeBron's watch. I don't know. We got some weird. We got a guy in the back that I don't feel like I'm not going to put on because it just seems a little too foreshadowing. I hope it's not the case, but one of these people in the back have the handle BWC. I don't feel comfortable with putting them on. I'm not gonna. Sorry, BWC. I'm not putting you on. It's just too much. Anyway,
so funny.
We've got YT Hoops here. Janet Kennels, how are you today, sir? And thank you, Brian Pumper.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Yeah, BWC is actually my alt on OnlyFans, but sorry. All right, so I have something I want to get your guys' take on this because I can't remember who said it, but like I agree that this is not really about America and bringing pride to your country. It's really about building the resume. And I got to use as an example. And look, maybe I'm reading a little too much. Maybe I'm being unfair, but this is how it looks to me. Joel Embiid, he's from Cameroon. He came here at 16. Now, here's the thing. The Cameroonian team is one of the best in Africa. If they qualified for the Olympics, that would be huge for his nation. Like, he would be a hero there more than he probably already is. And, like, why in the world? No, I don't know. Maybe he has an issue, but it doesn't seem that way. And like to me, it looks like he just wants that gold medal because he's obviously a guy who cares a lot about building his resume. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
100%. I agree. I mean, people will make the argument, right? That, he went to high school here. He, played college ball here. All that stuff, right? I just think, man, you should go back. If you spent 16 years somewhere where you were born, that's where you're from. Like I've always said, you should play that. And I'll say this and then pass it over. But one thing me and FYF disagree on is that he thinks every championship is weighted the same. Dart kind of thinks this too. You can't tell me that Embiid winning one on Team USA versus, let's say he pulled off the miracle and he won on his national team, Cameroon. You can't tell me those are the same thing, right? You just can't tell me those are two equal weighted Olympic medals if he pulls off a top 3 finish, right? So I'll say that and pass it over.
I think that's a great point. And I think you're right on the money with that stuff, man. I think that a lot of these guys are using this Olympics to promote themselves for their brand, all of this stuff, man. And I don't think there is any pride. And we were talking about it earlier in the chat. I said that was part of the 92 thing. They went out there and played with that sense of pride, not only for the United States, but for themselves. You think Michael Jordan want to go out there and embarrass himself? A 1-point win against Angola is embarrassing for the United States in 92. Embarrassing. Once again, a lot of these people in the chat, they don't seem to get it. I'm going to say it again. The United States was 43.5-point favorites. Favorites. Why the hell do you think that was? Not because the South Sudan was such a great team or they were some formidable team. They were 43.5-point favorites. How great could they really be? And we win by 1 point? So once again, where's the sense of pride and ownership? And what does LeBron James say? Oh, we only been together for a couple of weeks. It's a bunch of nonsense, man. Always making excuses, always trying to protect their brand, man. So you run the money.
Yeah. You have anything to say, AOH, or?
No, I mean, I'm the one who brought that up initially, so I would just be repeating myself.
Yeah, I do think a lot of people are just doing it for selfish reasons. I got it's the mustache. It's messing with my pronunciation. No, yeah, I do agree. I think a lot of it has to do with that. But yeah, what do you have to say, Dan, before we let you go and let another guy on?
Yeah, no, great show otherwise. I think it's great insight. And then just one last thing I'll leave you with is the iconoclasm of the past. It's just got to stop. It's like, dude, even if this team is better, like, who cares? It doesn't change how iconic that 92 team was. It's lame. And to me, it's an example of just a cultural rot in today. We have no respect for what became before us. I'll take care, guys.
Exactly.
Yo, be good, man. Thank you for calling in.
Dan.
I wanted to say one thing real quick. We mentioned how Magic and Michael went head to head at 92, and he said cultural rot there, right? And I just think a lot of the respect and the love for the game is gone. But even Magic and Bird said after that game, right, the torch had been passed. That Magic went head to head, they clashed, and they said, "Look, Jordan is obviously like the guy now, right?" And to have the ego of Bird and Magic, right, and to sort of acknowledge that, right, it still shows that they were true to what the game was, right? If Jordan goes out there and he wins, then it is what it is, right? Now we still got to play together and go forward, though. But just for All-Star, one of the greats, both of them to acknowledge that, right? It shows, I think, a little bit of the difference in like staying true to the game and a respect for the game. I could never imagine LeBron being like, the torch has been passed to Tatum. We got in this big 5-on-5 game. We went head to head. Words were exchanged. It got a little chippy, and LeBron gives him his due, right? I just don't ever see that happening from anyone these days. It's kind of sad.
Real fast, let me roll out these super chats and let the next caller in. The lowly one says, for $5 to Robin, at Sports and Fitness Rants for the passion. Let's roll. What do you have to say?
Oh, man, the lowly one, once again, a true supporter of my channel. That's why I'm here. You guys know I bring it to you guys the same way from day one to now, man. It's about the passion for the game, man, the respect, the honor, the class, the integrity. That's why I'm here. I see the people in the comments. Why don't you call up? Dark got the lines open. The link is there. Call up. Stop crying in the comment section. I don't get you guys. You keep saying we don't know basketball, that we all agree on the same things, blah, 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 blah. But no one wants to call up, put them face on camera, and dispute me. None of y'all can touch me, man, because this is what I'm here to do. And when people try to say that we all agree on the same thing, no, we don't. I've debated Nick or Jason Kidd versus Steve Nash. Did I call Nick names? Did I bash and tear down Steve Nash? No, I didn't. We had an honest, cool debate against each other. I don't agree with everything Dart says. Dart has some crazy, outlandish things that he says sometimes. And so do I, man. But we understand it's all about the same, the respect of the game of basketball, man. So once again, the lowly one, thank you so much.
We got another super chat from Anti-Narrative Sports Talk. Oh, my God. These people in this private chat. Hold on.
God damn it, man.
These trolls calling in. Anyway, Anti-Narrative Sports Talk says $4.99 US. LeBron is juicing, but also, what in the world is Steve Kerr doing? I see why Michael had to knock him out. I don't know who that was to, but yeah.
Hey, I'm a Bay Area guy. I'm not convinced with Kerr's coaching. I'm not.
Yeah.
Hey, how come the second team usually has to get Team USA back into it, and yet I don't know. Somebody in the side chat said that we campaigned to get Embiid onto the team. Well, it's usually when Anthony.
Here it is right here.
It's usually Anthony Davis that is doing better than Embiid. I don't see anything great when Embiid is on the floor. He's gigantic, but why is the second string always making up for what the first string didn't do? And why does Curry have to play in the same lineup as LeBron, fucking saving his ass constantly?
Yep, and then I guess that came with Thanos Snap Feminism, $10 to you as well. That's on flashing on the screen. So I mean, you more or less addressed that. So Diesel, $2 to me. I like the round up. Anyway, salute Rant for pulling Jason the Kid hoe card.
And I'm still waiting for Jason the Kid to call up. Jason the Kid has been one of our loyal followers and subscribers on our Sunday show. But this fool ain't never called up. We still waiting to see this dude.
Yeah, it was my friend texted, I wasn't watching, but my friend texted me the other day. We were playing Serbia or something, and he's like, this comeback's got me pumped. And I was like, comeback? Why the fuck do we have to make a comeback? What is even wrong? You know, like, what's going on? We shouldn't be pumped about that. We should be pissed.
Hey guys, I just want to say that I do give some props to this team for it's quite an assembly. I mean, it's a current NBA names. Sure, it's quite the collection of guys, and so was the '92 team. What if those two teams went against each other? What's going to be the X factor? What's going to be the difference maker that causes one team to fail to the other one?
My opinion would be the team play, largely not so much on offense, but more on defense. I just think the team play, communication, kind of just the way ball movement and things like that. I think that's ultimately the difference, right? Again, this is like the stats argument, right? They're all so good and accomplished and all these things. I think the difference is the team play, the knowing who does what, knowing what everyone's role is, right? Everyone these days is such a universal fit. You can have them do so many things, which I guess is some kind of an acknowledgement. But back in the day, even if a guy could do a lot of things, he knew the one or two things he really needed to do, right? So I just think the team mindset ultimately would be the difference.
Good point. Robin or Dart?
Yeah,
anything else?
listen. Oh, go ahead, Dart.
No, I was going to say I more or less agree with Nick. Is there's a lot of star power, and they're just kind of out there just being a face for the United States. But what do you got to say, Robin? And then we got Pierre here.
Oh, okay, just real quickly, it's a two-way play. The players in the '92 team. If you look at the roster of this current Olympic team and you look at the '92 team, a lot of the players on that '92 team were two-way stalwarts. We talk about Karl Malones and the David Robinsons, the Scottie Pippens, the Michael Jordans, the John Stocktons, the Patrick Ewings. I mean, my goodness, who the hell they got on this team? And also the mindset, the softness. Bam Adebayo was fragile. Anthony Davis is fragile. Devin Booker? Really? Are we worried about Devin Booker, man? Come on, man. I mean, look at the team. Tyrese Halliburton? What are we talking about here? Steph Curry, I love Steph Curry, but he don't play no defense like that. So once again, LeBron James ain't playing no defense. So the overall play of the '92 team and the savviness of them, man, the toughness, the grit, the heart, they win.
Well, I was setting myself up to answer this by letting you guys go. If push comes to shove, it's going to come down to the mental collapse. Which of those two teams is going to have the mental collapse?
Yeah.
Pierre, welcome, Pierre. You hear us?
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, Dark. Hi, hey, panel. How you guys doing?
Yo, what up, man?
Yeah, good to see you guys as always. Hey, Dark, I just got a straightforward question, and it's just pissing me off. You know, I'm getting like Robin now. I think it's rubbing off on me.
God damn it!
I can't stand the fact that these idiots don't play no team defense. It's supposed to be a fucking USA team. They don't play no team defense. Am I right, Nick, or not?
Correct. That's what I thought would be the biggest thing. Would be the defensive end would be the biggest difference, in my opinion.
Nick, I don't think.
I think we're losing you, Pierre. You hear us?
But anyway, you get what I'm saying, Dart?
Pierre, Pierre, I can't hear you.
You're breaking up.
All right, Pierre. I'm gonna move on, but you can call back in later.
I
Oh.
lost you guys. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Yeah. What were
What
you
was the
saying?
last thing you guys heard?
Nothing.
You didn't hear anything? Okay, I'm
No.
just going to say one thing real quick. I just got pissed off at the fact that these guys play no defense. No team defense at all. You know what I mean? And that's what pisses me off to the utmost max. Because the fact that these guys are supposed to be the best in the world, the best pros, and they got these young punks dominating them. You know what I mean? There's no way in hell we should win by 1 point over these rookies. You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. You understand what I'm saying, Dart?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
done.
What do y'all? Yeah, I don't think that the game should have been nearly as close as it was with South Sudan. Now, granted, it's a exhibition game, but to the point of it is that South Sudan is a new country. I won't go. I know a little bit about South Sudan, so I won't go into it, but it's not a very old country. And to have the people that they fielded, like Nick was talking about, is, it's in ways kind of embarrassing to be down by, or to win by 1 point. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
Do y'all have anything to say about it, or?
Yeah, listen, I want everybody to understand once again. I'm going to say it again. For everyone in the back, all you morons in the chat, man, this South Sudan was 43.5-point underdogs. Do you know how insane that sounds when you say it out loud? 43.5-point underdogs. So what is everybody talking about? Yo, man, South Sudan was a good team. If they were really that formidable, if people really thought they were that quality of a team, they would not have been 43.5-point underdogs, guys. So once again, this is a problem that I had with people comparing them to the 92 Dream Team. The 92 Dream Team was heavily favored against all the teams they played, and they did not lollygag.
AOH or Nick, you have anything to add, or?
I remember Curry fouling the crap out of Carlick Jones, knocking him out of bounds, and didn't get whistled. So I guess there was some defense by the U.S.
Nick?
No, I got nothing to add. Sounds good.
Oh my God, these people, these
I'm
trolls,
doing it.
man.
I got it. I'm working on it.
Someone made a channel with my face. You see this video?
I know.
These
It
people
is
came
kind
to
of
my
funny.
live show of the other day, and I'm actually flattered by this because I've impacted people so much that they make fake YouTube channels with my profile picture, with my name, talking about I'm short and my wife cheated on me. Like, what are we? We are off in the weeds right now, people. This is why the LeBron James fans, and this is why I always tell you guys, LeBron James doesn't have any real fans. They're all bots, man. His popularity is fraudulent. This is why when he goes out in town, he gets booed. He don't have no real supporters. He don't have no real YouTube channels. I'll get people leaving comments on my channel. They have time for 100+ comments, but they ain't got time for maybe one video. They can't make one video. All those comments you've done, 100+ comments, you can make a 20-minute video with it. Why don't you make a video? I just challenge these fools to call up. But this guy, Sports Talk, is still commenting in the chat. Dude, if I was able to block you out of here, I would have done it a long time ago because you have no balls.
Hey, Robin, I meant to ask, what's up with your beard?
I know, right, man? People were making fun of my beard the other day. Like, I don't even understand what's going on here, man. But you know what they do
That's
that?
a great beard. I wish I had that beard.
Listen, I do my own haircuts. I don't have much hair, so I gotta make sure my beard's okay. And yeah, sometimes I don't look that great on camera. I get all that. But this is why I always tell people to put themselves on camera and make a video. How dare you make fun of someone else's personal looks when you have no balls to put yourself on camera? It's an absolute joke, man.
They can't mess with me. I look good every day.
I just want to say I have the best mustache on the panel. It's not even close, but that's besides the point. Pierre, do you have any last words before we bring on Matt?
Nope, bring on the next guy, guys. And I'm trying to wipe out these idiots too.
Matt's
Thanks,
gonna
Pierre.
be.
I appreciate it. We need more help.
I'll be in touch.
Here it comes
with
again. This is on somebody. This is on somebody else.
I got someone calling me a cokehead in the comments. Are you kidding me? We're still going on this? Listen, my man, call up the show. Why won't you that I've ever said in my videos. You know what's funny
What's
about these
wrong with
guys? They have no
cocaine?
energy for my fitness videos. I can't see you guys coming to my fitness videos because you guys can't do anything that I do at my age.
Cocaine's what got those 80s players to do what they did, right?
That's
The
right.
peak drug.
All right. Well, welcome, Matt. I'm sorry. Steam Engine sent a super chat, I believe, to AOH. So what I've noticed in this overlay too is that I'll block them on my end here, but because I don't like own your guys' YouTube channels, it'll still show up on the overlay. So I do my part. If it's from my channel, I can block it. It seems, but anyway,
Yeah, I
keep
got
showing
the
up
last
on the
few are mine.
overlay.
I've been on top of it. I got it. I
That
got
is
my
not
chat
my
open.
channel.
Yeah, so I can do I can handle mine, but anyway, the yeah, Spam Engine $2 super chat. He says, "Here's $2. I just woke up, kids. Don't do drugs."
Well, it sounds like you need to do some cocaine. Wake the F up.
Yeah, but yep, supposed to be here today. Anyway, Matt, welcome. How are you today, sir?
Hi guys, I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Good, good.
Love
Great.
from India again. Love looking forward to this chat all the time. Yeah,
Shout out to
loving
India.
all the content. Yeah,
Appreciate
AOH,
it.
love your breakdowns.
Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to more. I just want to say, man, like the Embiid thing came up, and you guys were talking about respect, and I have just lost respect as a human, like a basic respect for another human. What about what Embiid is doing? Like, you guys saw how the whole country of France was pissed off at him for telling them he would play for them, and then he just screwed them over and joined the US. And now he is like he's on the team on the US team, and now he's throwing LeBron under the bus, saying he's not what he used to be. And I don't think like as a human being or as a like trustworthy teammate, somebody like Jordan or Pippen or Malone would have said, "Oh, Larry is washed up, his back is gone." Like
Well,
the basic integrity or humanity is like missing, and I'm just sad that the NBA has come to this level now.
Absolutely, Matt. I just wanted to say something real fast. Is that people are asking about how to call in. The easiest way is to come to my channel and then click on it. Simply put, or when I put it in on the chat overlay, you could type it in. But honestly, it's just easier if you just come to my channel. And again, if you like this show or like what I have to say, please subscribe and to everybody's channels as well. But yeah, Robin, what do you have to say about what Matt had to say?
Once again, around the money. When you bring up things like honor, integrity, and all these kinds of aspects, this is what I'm alluding to. There's nothing left in the game. Look at what they're saying about me in the chat. They're saying the most outlandish things. You know what's really funny about these LeBron James fans? They have no energy for the accusations, the suspicions surrounding LeBron James. But here they will accuse me, someone they have no idea of who I am, what I've done in my life, what I got going on, none of this stuff. But they'll call me a cokehead because of the way I speak, as the energy that I am able to portray on the video camera. Once again, if you guys notice, I do every live stream on my feet, man. I'm standing up the entire time. I'm not sitting down. I'm built for this. I'm not like y'all. I'm different, man. But once again, I dare these fools to go to my fitness channel because then you'll understand why I am the way I am. Once again, this is me from the minute I wake up, from the minute I go to bed, man. I don't do drugs. If anybody does drugs, good for them. I have no problem with what people do in their personal life, but to accuse someone of doing drugs or all these crazy things, this is part of the problem for these guys, man. And Joel Embiid is a clown, man. And a lot of these guys don't have the pride to play for their own countries or stand up for anything, man. They really don't.
Nick or AOH, you got something to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the whole we're humans and we always have to be nice and do that. I understand that aspect, but yeah, I think it's more of the betrayal he's kind of getting at there that again, this is where you're from, and you'd rather take the easier path than, maybe you go play for your team and they're not any good. You're the only good NBA star to come out of that country, right? But you still get more respect doing that, taking your licks, and just doing the right thing the right way for the right reasons instead of, well, I just won a gold medal and I'll ride the bench if I have to, or only play 15 minutes a game on a stacked lineup where I have no responsibilities or any pressure. Again, I get it. You want to put it in your trophy case, right? But the optics and the taste it leaves in people's mouth is it's just a bad one, right? It's just not good overall. And so I think that's what he's trying to get at is just, if you're not even loyal to the place you're from or your people, right? Wherever you're from, it's just kind of, what do you really like? Where is that animal in you? Where is that drive? Where is that you want to win at all costs, or you're willing to do anything no matter the odds? It just comes off as weak, right? And so that's what I'll say about that.
I just real fast want to say, as a Sixers fan, I was disappointed in Embiid going to the United States. I thought it was a low character move. That's all I have to say about that.
I don't like that there's that many options. He had 3 different options. Again, how are we going to get excited about the Olympics? The countries are turning into corporations. It's like, oh, who can court a player this year to that year? People with multiple citizenships, which I don't have a problem with that. But, who do you feel like you belong to? Who do you in your heart represent? Go and play for them bravely. Don't take the easy way out. And these guys in their houses and their trophies or whatever they have on their display mounts. But if you walk people through your house, do you really want to have a deep conversation about your trophies? Because I don't think you want to tell the backstory on them unless it's LeBron James, where he only brings his buddies and his yes men around to agree with him that, oh, yeah, man, you should have definitely gotten defensive player of the year. The numbers don't show that you should have, but you said that you should have. And so, yeah, man, that should definitely be in your trophy case. I mean, none of these people could have a real conversation with someone who could criticize them and be able to stand up to it. They need to be surrounded by yes men. I don't mind. And, Robin doesn't mind. I'm sure none of you guys mind criticism. If it's real, if it's true, shit, I make mistakes and I can explain my mistakes. But what we don't do is what Embiid is doing. My God, this is weird. I didn't know this shit. This is really, really weird. And yet it's not surprising. I haven't really seen anything from Embiid that would make me expect great things from his behavior.
Ladart never makes mistakes, but that's besides the point. But yeah, Matt, you have anything to say before we let the next caller on?
Yeah, nothing, man. Just the way he just threw his teammate under the bus, calling him washed up. That's not how teammates are. I mean, that's not how teammates should be. It's just disgusting.
Exactly. I don't even like LeBron James, but if I was on Team USA, I don't go into an interview and say some shit like that. Who does that help?
I have no idea, man. It's just horrible.
But thank you, Matt, for calling. Appreciate it. And have a great day, sir, or night.
I got something to say.
Have a great day, night, guys.
Take it easy, man.
Bye-bye.
I got something to say to this guy Pythagoras because he loves to keep talking about I'm unstable. I don't like that word unstable. I can't control my emotions. I've been on many, many live streams since day one. I still have never cursed on a live stream. I've never said one curse. No, one single curse. But I'm unstable. And he talks about controlling your emotions. Wait, you're a LeBron James fan and you're talking about controlling emotions? LeBron James threw a temper tantrum last year because he didn't get a foul call in a game that went to overtime. But I'm supposed to, you're talking about my emotions. LeBron James is fake reading books. He's walking off the court early. He's fake vandalizing his house. But you're talking about I can't control my emotions. You need to go check LeBron James and his emotions. Every other word of LeBron James is N-word this, F that, S that. I've never cursed on my channel. I'm not unstable. I got the facts here. Once again, I dare you to call up. Call up.
All right, AOH, you're saying you have to go. And thank you for coming to the show. Do you have anything you want to say to the people?
No, but thanks to Thanos' prompting, I'll go ahead and go work on that Sudan video. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Well, we
Yo, man,
appreciate
have a good
you.
one, AOH.
See you on the flip side, sir. I got way better facial hair than him. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. Where'd Steam Engine go? He left. Anyway, welcome Savion. How are you today, sir?
Oh, good. How about y'all?
Great.
Good, good.
Oh, just had to turn my camera on.
Yep.
Whoa, my bad. My phone just dropped.
You're good.
I'm way younger than y'all. I'm like still a teenager. I'm 19.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a Kobe Bryant fan.
Very cool.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Did you have a question for us, or?
Oh, what standard would y'all have for this current USA team? Because I don't like that's being compared to past teams of the past.
All right.
Just get a gold medal. That's the standard, right? I mean, we'll start there and then we'll compare afterwards, I think.
Yeah, I just don't think this team is anywhere near the 1992 Dream Team. Impossible.
Yeah, I think the obvious answer is they got to get gold. But outside of that, I don't think there really is another standard. That's really the only one that matters. In respect to people saying that this team is better than the '92 Dream Team, they obviously can't play each other. I think the only way you can measure up is if they win gold, don't lose a game, and have a higher point differential. That's the only way you can argue that.
There's a lot of teams. Oh, there's a lot of teams that I think have a threat to USA because they're just so weak-minded. Like there's so many teams that have a threat to beat USA. It's not even funny because you have so many soft crybabies that don't even want to play a game. I feel like in their mind, like they gonna make excuses if they get whooped and all that.
Yep.
Like it's not even funny.
Yep.
Robin, you have anything to say, or?
Yeah, no, that was a great question, and thank you for calling up, man. And yeah, I think you're right. I think like Nick said, the gold medal, that's the standard, man. You have to win the gold medal when they talk about USA basketball, especially when you're talking about all these caliber of players on one team. That's the whole point here. But remember, the 92 Dream Team will always be the standard. That's always the standard of measurement. So everyone's going to fall under that standard, man. There's no way for these guys to surpass that standard. But yes, at the minimum, they have to win a goal. But also, the standard is also what? To play with pride, to go out there and give it your all. Show that heart, show that grit. And you never make excuses. There's no excuses here in America. No excuses.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why that's the case now. It wasn't the case in the 90s. Why is that the case now?
Yep.
Yep. But I want to say thank you for calling, Savion. We got some more people back.
No problem.
But
Thanks
I
for calling,
appreciate
man.
you. Yep.
Not a problem at all. All right, y'all
Go
have a
Kobe.
nice one.
You too.
Go
Bye-bye.
Kobe.
Kobe.
We got Steam Engine here, and then we've got Andrew here. Steam Engine, you said that you wanted to say something that's on the tip of your tongue, other than don't do drugs.
Well, yeah, lead with that. And also, I watched a little bit of background of a beef dart that you have, not beef, whatever. Some gentleman was commenting on your, what's the video you just did yesterday? Or like 2 days ago, you did a video and some guy was calling you like emotional or never saying something about not using statistics.
Oh, that was Travis T. Perfect.
Okay.
He has like an 0-6 record in debates on the channel. I got to shout him out for having the guts to come on, but I find him if he I don't think he really believes half the stuff he says, because he goes on a LeBron James fan channel and pretends like he's a Michael Jordan fan, as if he's not getting squashed every day by these guys.
Okay. So what I wanted to bring up is what I'm noticing is on both sides, whether you're a Jordan or a LeBron guy, like we both get emotional. Like both sides get emotional about it. I think the difference is on our end, the Michael Jordan side, it's like at least we own up to that shit, and at least we don't turn it into something personal. Because that's what I was noticing is I can sit here and spit my dislike about LeBron based on his personality, him as a being, him as a basketball player, whatever. Like, that's my right. I'm honest about it. But I don't personally attack LeBron fans. Like, that's like, Robin, I came in as I was hearing your story about people talking shit on you. And it's like, yo, that's wild to me. It's fucking bad. LeBron said it himself. It's just basketball. The difference is we're a little older, I guess. So a little more less giving a shit. But if you really think about it, emotion's going to come on both sides. Both sides have biases. You're delusional if you think otherwise. I just want to get that point across. I'm sorry, real quick, Dart, because I didn't like how actually a lot of people were painted in this light of just being like emotional old heads. Geezers is, I think, what he said. And it's like, but you guys do the exact same shit. You guys run with narratives as many times as we talk about narratives, and as many times as you tell us we're doing narratives. It's just like this self-perpetuating cycle. It's wild.
Are you talking about the Big Nige rant where the guy made a video about me for 10 minutes saying I suck?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know Big Nige. I know T Perfect was doing comments, but yeah, saying all of the same things. But I don't know, man. It happens every day. I think it's funny because I'll go like, this is just me, and I know I know some people appreciate the advanced stats and all that stuff, but to me, it's just it's just as equally erroneous to say that Hollinger or whoever else made up these advanced stats. It's like reiterating something that you hear off of TV in the same respect, except they made a new formula, and that's what a lot of these guys do. They'll say, well, essentially the formulas that are biased toward Michael Jordan and LeBron James for the GOAT narrative, just to put it out there plainly. I think they tailor these formulas to push both of them. That's just me. That's what I think about it. But how can you rely on these formulas that some of them have 4 different versions, or a lot of them have multiple versions at all? So if that's the standard, why does it change all the time? That's not a standard. That's a goalpost that's being moved. So for me, I personally don't have I'm just saying with some of these people, they'll say, well, LeBron's the GOAT because of his advanced analytics or whatever. And same with Michael Jordan. I think they're both a bunch of hogwash personally, but yeah, the narratives and stuff, I think it's funny. I don't know. I find humor in it.
It's sad. Also, I don't know how people answered this question, but any team with Bam Adebayo and Tyrese Halliburton on its roster, no disrespect to them, but it's like, why are we even? How is that even compared? Devin Booker, like, did anyone say that this team is better?
No, I don't know. Hey, Spam Engine, if you want to hang out, you can, because you're a regular panel member. We got Andrew here who's been patiently waiting. Okay. I want to let him.
Cool, thank you.
Yep. Andrew, welcome, sir.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Bro, what's up?
How you doing?
No, doing well. Excited to be on the show. Love all you guys. But the main thing I just want, one thing, my guy Sports and Fitness Rants, I couldn't believe it when Gil came on the show, when you stood on business, and I respected that big time.
Yo, much respect, man. I really appreciate that. See, this is the thing, man. A lot of times, they think because we're nobodies or, we're just common folk and we're little YouTubers that all of a sudden an ex-NBA player is going to come on here and then we're going to bow down to them and not stand on what we talked about on my channel. Absolutely not. I stand on those things because that's who I am, and I'll always be that person, man. So when we talk about these Michael Jordan fans and the LeBron James fans, and I want to touch on what Speed Engine was just talking about real quick. When we talk about these things and we're talking about emotions and we're talking about passion, it's a really slight difference between those two dynamics. So for a LeBron James fan, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. I'll make a video, whether the video, whatever it's about. What you'll see and what you'll notice is the emotions of a LeBron James fan will cause them to leave multiple comments on one video. That's called emotions, because now you're just typing and typing and typing.
Oh, no.
That's emotions. As a Michael Jordan fan, what I do if I see a video, let's say, for example, it says Michael Jordan's a bum or Michael Jordan was a quitter, I just scroll past the video. I don't watch the video. I don't comment on the video. It means nothing to me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. None of these things. That's why I laugh at these kids over here when they're talking about emotions and I'm out of control and all these things, because these same people are constantly watching my videos and crying to me. That's called emotion, man. Michael Jordan fans, people like me, we deal in reality. We deal with the facts. That's why they have no channels on their videos. I mean, they have no business on their channel because they can't talk about facts. There are no facts to support LeBron James.
I stopped. So I was gonna say I stopped comment checking a long time ago, right? If people want to debate me, like you got my email, you can get a hold of me, right? And we can set something up. But yeah, I stopped comment checking a long time ago.
Yeah, I can, and I'll definitely moderate it as well. I'm always down to moderate. First off, Andrew, I want to say that I'm a little intimidated by your mustache. I still think mine's a little better, but
rather dapper.
Touche.
No, but yeah, to what Robin was saying and what you were saying about Gilbert Arenas coming on, I did a lot lower key and more subtle because he came on here last week and said that the ball has always been 30 inches, or excuse me, 29.5 inches the entirety of NBA history. And then me and this guy who used to come on this show a lot, but I have a regular Saturday show with him, Politicus Rex. We broke down the history of the NBA basketball, and essentially, and Gilbert Arenas watched it, and we showed him that just was plainly not true.
Yeah, no. I actually, yesterday afternoon, I was checking that stream out a little bit, and that guy Rex. I mean, it's insane how much he knows, and I'm just like, literally feels like the grandfather of basketball. As I mean, yeah, it's so listening to that guy's awesome. But I had one question for Sports and Fitness Rants, if I could get that off.
Okay, one more, and then we got a G Coalition in the back.
Yeah, no, of course, no problem. No, I was just wondering what you think of essentially today's players that pretty much go in two ways, both ways. Where I'm born in 1998, so I grew up during LeBron and all this stuff, and I don't really know what everyone else is talking about, but I mean, I'm young. I grew up during the whole thing, and just LeBron going to Miami, I just could not get past that. I'm like 12 years old, right? And it's just like, dude, what are you doing? And just like the two-way players from back in the 90s versus kind of it just slowly dwindled, and it's like all the best guys on offense ain't playing no D. And I'm like, dude, like how can you be considered all-time great up with these guys, Jordan, Kobe, Kareem, like Will, all these guys in here, and not playing both ways at the highest level? I just don't get it.
Yeah, no, you're much respect for you, man. I appreciate your support for real. And when we think about the two-way players, I think that's the biggest problem in the NBA right now. And it's not necessarily that these guys don't have the ability to do these things. They don't want to do it. Because we all know that defense, most of defense is your want-to, your willingness to go out there and give the effort on the defensive end. Defense isn't sexy. People don't get a lot of recognition for defense. It's not going to sell you sneakers or get you the money, so to speak, in this era. But when you think about guys like Kobe Bryant or Tim Duncan, the Kevin Garnetts, they were really the last breed of those really great two-way players. And not necessarily just guys that play both sides of the ball, but guys that play both sides of the ball consistently for almost every single game of the season. These guys weren't load managing, playing 30, 40, 50 games and being great on both sides of the ball. These guys were playing 70, 80 games every single season, giving that effort on both sides of the ball because it mattered to them to play defense. These days, they've taken the defense out of the game. But I always tell people, just because they manipulated the rules to take the defense out by, the freedom of movement, the hand checking, things of that nature, we get that. The effort should never change. They should still be giving the effort on the defensive end consistently, and that's where we have a lot of problems with. So you're right when you talk about those things. It was a dying breed in the NBA now. It's hopefully maybe we'll get back to guys taking pride in defense and something like that. But yeah, it's crazy how they'll try to compare these guys now to the guys in the past when these guys today are not giving that same level of the effort that we're talking about.
Yep, effort. That, bottom line, that's what it comes down to, I think. and you can see it on the court. I mean, like you always say, video, it's on the video footage. That's all there is.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in, Drew. Appreciate you calling in. We're going to let G Coalition Bro in here.
No, thank you, guys. Amazing show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, how's it going, good brothers?
Hey, what's up?
Yo,
How
what's
you
up?
doing, sir?
First off, shout out, and I appreciate everything that you guys are doing as far as taking down all the false narratives that are infecting the NBA and media and sports conversation. But on that note, Robin, sports and fitness. That's why I got to cook you for like 2 seconds.
All right.
Every now and again, when you're talking about this 2024 Olympic team, every now and again, like at least like once a video or once or twice on a panel, I noticed this a couple days ago, but I catch you making this one little mistake, my dog. You occasionally end up saying this dream team when referring to the 2024 Olympic team. Brother, there is no such thing as this year's team being a dream team. There's no, it's not even close. You guys put all the facts out there about everything that made the 1992 dream team, or should I let's just say the dream team. Y'all put everything out there about what makes the dream team be the dream team, and you occasionally end up kind of slipping up because and you know what? Let me actually track a little bit further on that. That actually kind of goes to the legacy of the dream team because every Olympic team is compared to them. Every Olympic team that keeps on being that we throw around, okay, we have these great players on this team, we have this opportunity to do something. There's the occasional there's always the comparison to the dream team. There's the whole talk about, is this the new dream team, the 2024 dream team, the 2008 dream? And guess what? They all fall short of the mark because they don't have what the 92 Cats had. Everything, the mentality, the timing, everything that went into what made the 92 dream team be what it was. Be the dream team. Be the reason that every other team is called the dream team when they shouldn't be called the dream team. So I'm just the legacy is what it is. And even when Kobe Bryant carried what I call the class of James, as far as the whole LeBron James draft class in 2003 and 2004, all those cats that were from that draft class that ended up on that team, they had to get carried to get back to the goal by Kobe Bryant, and it was called the Redeem Team at the end of the day. So basically, there's only one dream team is what I'm trying to get at, and we need to, part of wiping out the narrative is making sure that we nip in the bud the whole idea of other teams being called the dream team before they earn it.
What do you guys say about that, Robin?
Well, listen, you didn't cook me. I never get cooked, man. I'm sports and fitness Rams, baby. But I do appreciate what you're saying. You're on the money with some of this stuff. But once again, this is what I talk about in my chat. Whether or not I slip of the tongue and I refer to them as a dream team, this is what we're talking about. This actually exposes it even further because we should be calling every one of these Olympic teams a dream team of some degree. Yeah, maybe they're not going to be the 92 dream team, but every Olympic team that the United States sends out there with their professionals should be called a dream team. That's why in 1994, when they had the FIBA championships, it was called Dream Team 2. There was a reason for that, because it's supposed to be a dream team, the second iteration. But yes, you are correct. I should not call this Olympic team the dream team, but you got to cut me some slack here, man. I don't pre-record my videos. I don't write nothing down. I'm talking here, and I'm giving you guys the facts, man. There's no comparisons. So I appreciate what you're saying, man. Thank you.
Brother, number one, I'm absolutely just having fun with this. I'm not trying to.
No, I know. Me, and listen, I'm me too, man. I appreciate this.
And number two, you put up a damn good point, though. Every single one, they did start calling the next team the Dream Team, Dream Team 2, Dream Team 3, Dream Team. And the reason why they stopped calling them Dream Team number, the next number of the Dream Team, is because the 2014 completely fell off. It's because we went bronze in 2004. That's why it stopped. I agree.
3, 2, 1, go.
Yup. No, you're right.
Well, thank you for calling, sir. We got a caller in the background.
Yo, thanks for calling up, man. I appreciate that.
You got it, man.
All right. We've got Will back here. Welcome, Will. But first, we got this super chat from Hayden Phoenix that's just been sitting here. For $5 US, I believe it's the Robin. He said, FYF said, if you top 5, you the GOAT. So LeBron the GOAT. So he falls in top 5. So I guess the bar has been lowered to top 5, and all sports are now GOAT.
Oh
Robin,
my God!
yeah,
Listen,
what do you guys about that?
Hayden Phoenix, much respect to you, man. Once again, he's a true supporter of my channel. He's been supporting my channel for a while now. And FYF, I mean, listen, FYF has exposed himself over and over again because I've told you what. The LeBron James apologists, which is what he is, the LeBron James supporters are not true basketball fans. They only are fans of LeBron James, so they will say the most nonsensical things to fit the narrative. I mean, listen, this dude literally tried to say with a straight face, why doesn't Scottie Pippen deserve top 10 consideration? Or how come he doesn't get top 10 consideration? How come? Because he's nowhere in top 10, you fool. That's why he doesn't get top 10 consideration. But why does FYF say something like that? To take away from Michael Jordan. He's not giving Scottie Pippen his credit. And that's a problem for a lot of these LeBron James fans. And I laugh at these guys, man. They have no energy for Dwayne Wade. They have no energy to give Anthony Davis any credit. They never want to talk about Ray Allen or Kyrie Irving or Kevin Love. They spend their entire time talking about Scottie Pippen. It makes no sense, man. These guys are delusional. FYF is a clown, man. He has no idea about top 5, top 10. He has no concept of basketball. He stands on nothing, man. The guy's a goof, man. So much respect to Hayden Phoenix. Thank you.
All right. Well, Matt left the chat. I guess I've dropped a link. It doesn't seem like anyone else is called, or not Matt, Will. But yeah, I've dropped a link if anyone else wants to call in. Otherwise,
I wanted to say something real
yeah.
quick about that guy before last who was talking about the two-way ability seems to not be as much of a thing anymore. I just had a quick ironic take that maybe you guys agree or disagree, but in more modern times, he was born in 99, he said, something like that. I hate to say it, it's kind of an ironic take, but I think Dirk was like the first guy that you could simply just get an offensive weapon who could get a shot up at any time, and you could work with that, and you could hide him on the defensive end, move him around a little bit. Dirk's a good rebounder and things like that, but obviously he kind of got the one-on-one treatment earlier in his career. And I just kind of was thinking like Dirk might have been the first guy that validated the thought that you could just take an offensive weapon as long as he could get you 25 to 30 and you could make that work, right? I don't know. Maybe you guys agree or don't agree with that.
Yeah. Dirk is I'm a Duncan guy, so I know you're a Dirk guy. I mean, Dirk was great. I'm gonna say it, Nick, and I'm not trying to be mean. I think he's a little overappreciated.
Oh, that's all right. That's fine.
There's
a lot to be desired on the defensive end.
Yeah, I think the 2000. See, the thing with Dirk Nowitzki is that he came in towards the end of the 90s into those 2000s. So when we think about Dirk Nowitzki, we were still talking about two-way players. Dirk Nowitzki's counterpart would be Kevin Garnett, right? The Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Those are kind of like his counterparts. And what's the difference between those guys? The defensive side of the ball for Dirk Nowitzki, even rebounding wise, Dirk Nowitzki wasn't a great rebounder for his size, right? So when we think about those things,
100%.
but I've told you many times, Dirk Nowitzki was one of those first guys to be able to impact the game, like you said, from shooting all over the place. And when we think about 2011, man, I give Dirk Nowitzki a lot of credit, man, because once again, he was down 2-1. He was playing against a super team. No one made any excuses for Dirk Nowitzki. He didn't make any excuses for himself. And like you said, what did they do? They put some veteran savvy players around him, the Tyson Chandlers, the Jason Kidds, the Terrys, the Sean Marions, and they let Dirk Nowitzki carry them on the offensive end. They ran everything through Dirk Nowitzki. If you go back and you watch that series and you look at the fourth quarter scoring from Dirk Nowitzki, when the Mavericks needed a basket, it was Dirk Nowitzki that was getting these baskets, man. Everyone was feeding off of him, man. So much respect to Dirk Nowitzki, once again, for what he did in those finals. And like you said earlier, Nick, that NBA Finals in 2011, that was a huge feather in Dirk Nowitzki's cap, man. That championship right there, man, it put him in another realm. For someone like Dart to say he's a little overvalued.
Yeah.
We had a couple of people drop off that, but we'll let Bill Walton soliloquy in here.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you,
Excellent. Sir? Okay, thanks. I'll try to keep this relatively short so I'm a little bit newer to
Go.
this area of YouTube. Really like all your guys' channels. Born in the early '90s, been an NBA fan for many years. Love NBA across all the decades, all the legends, and play sports myself. I gotta say, just something. I was out of the NBA for a couple of years, just busy with life and stuff. And then I came back. I'm a Wolves fan. Been following them really closely for a long time. Obviously, they were doing pretty well last year. Went to a couple of playoff games, and yeah, I noticed just off the bat, I was there with some friends, and I was like, "What is this offense? These guys lack such fundamentals. It's just like guys chucking shots. Nobody's cutting." I'm like, "What is going on?" Anthony Edwards is playing God mode basically in the playoffs. That was our only offense, and I'm sitting there asking guys, "What is this? Why is Karl Anthony Towns taking shots from 10 feet from behind the 3-point line in a playoff game?" And they're like, no, it's all good. Look at their percentages. He shoots, he's the best. And I'm like, guys, I work in analytics. Like, I've been in analytics for many years. These people do not know how to use numbers, how to analyze numbers. Like, they're completely misusing this stuff, right? My friends are going, he should take these threes because he's got such great percentages. I'm like, does he have great percentages against great defense, right? That's one thing. Second thing, I watch these guys. Yeah, guys aren't hustling on defense. And, I'll keep it short here, but I was wondering if you guys had any thoughts. I feel like the players now, obviously our U.S. talent feels a lot weaker. And I was wondering if literally people not spending as much time in college might be impacting the game. And not only from the perspective of, oh yeah, they're going to like learn from the coaching staff, right? But also like going to school, you're training your brain. You go watch those like Michael Jordan interviews. He has a very developed mind. He's a very intelligent young man. Would he have been that if he just came right out of school? You know what I mean?
Well, let me answer that real fast, because I'm a big proponent of the one and that I can't stand the one and done stuff because of things that you're saying. A lot of people will go and they'll draft these guys just on potential, quote unquote, because they're athletic freaks. They don't know how to play basketball as well as some of the other seniors or juniors that are on these college teams. And these guys get overlooked because their first step is, slower than this freaks. And they just bank everything on being able to bring character, skill sets, and just the ability to be a great basketball player through the pros, not accounting for the things that you're talking about, going to school, doing these things that require a lot of discipline, let alone learning how to play the game better. So yeah, I totally agree. I think it's affected the game negatively.
Yeah, I think just in another quick point.
Let's let the other guys answer. We got other guys backstage.
Okay,
so
sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Robin.
No, stay on.
Okay.
Yeah, stay on. I'm just saying,
Go
let
ahead,
these
Nick.
other guys answer.
I was gonna say
Go.
the one thing. So I've played ball. I've done the channel as well, but I've also done some coaching and instructing as well. And I could talk about shot selection all day. Like as a coach, I think that is the one thing when you really start getting into the nitty gritty, or trying to get kind of junior high and high school guys to the next level and understanding, like just shot selection, being efficient, making sure we're getting a good shot, making the defense work. There's kind of all these things that go into it. So I agree with him. The shot selection, when I see a bad shot or I see like an early shot that we could have gotten at the end of the shot clock or something, it drives me through the wall, man. I cannot stand it. That's definitely my biggest pet peeve. And then what was the other thing he was talking about? Just the overall hustle on defense. I kind of got lost there.
Yeah, I feel like guys for instance, Gobert, right? I know he's technically a great defender, all these advanced stats. I saw so many possessions during the playoffs where like a guy would go for a layup, he's right there, and he doesn't even put a hand up.
Yeah.
Right? Like I played basketball, I played all sports, and I hustle my butt off. I was like the Rodman type guy on the floor, right? Always fouling people, getting in people's heads, doing whatever, and putting that hand up, even if the guy isn't there, right? That like affects things throughout the game. And I see these guys, I can't on all these teams, like guys go up for layup and guys just let them go. I don't understand.
Well, we've talked about this before, how the NBA has become such it's not really a team-driven league anymore. It's a superstar-driven league. And so one guy, again, I'll speak directly from what I'm seeing, like Luka, right?
Yep.
It's hard to get other people involved. Everyone is standing around. You know, even if you do have a guy like Luka, there's no reason guys can't be back cutting and things like that, right? So the offense definitely is very stale compared to back in the day. Go watch even 90s ball. People say how slow it was and things like that. They'd at least make a few entry passes, kick it around, move it around, right? They're trying to get to the elbow, or you can see the play as a team kind of developing. And these days it's just one-on-one and everyone get to your spot, and then we'll see what happens.
90s Utah Jazz, best team basketball you'll probably ever see.
Yeah, all 24 seconds. Yeah, I know that for sure.
Yeah, all 24 seconds of the clock.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing, and then I'll drop for you guys? I appreciate it.
Well, Robin, do you have anything to say? Or?
Yeah, let him finish his thought, and I'll say something.
I was going to say another thing.
Yeah, we got to let the next guy on.
All right. So one thing I find very interesting is I know people often say, like, Jokic is the best player today. I wouldn't argue with that. But I think a very telling thing to me, because I'm very passionate about learning and teaching, as I think we've mentioned, coaching and leadership here. I love all of that. I've read so much. You know what's special about him that I feel like is not talked about? He does not have social media.
2,
He just
1.
spends his time learning. Think about all the time all these players are wasting on Instagram and all these things, right? And I just think, and I'm like, do any of these players realize that? Like, oh, this guy's destroying us, and he's spending his time practicing. It's not he doesn't care about the game, right? He's just not spending time marketing himself. Anyways, that's it.
Can I jump in on that real quick?
Yeah.
That goes back to the whole Europeans are taking over the league idea.
Thank you, Bill Walton.
They just kind of handle it. I don't want to say with a better sense of like class, but it seems basketball, with the exception of like maybe Luka, seems to be more of a priority than U.S. players who are obsessed with social media and their branding and making sure they make the right gesture after they shoot a three-pointer, and their outfits and all that. So I think that's just the Europeans advancing. That's why, we should be doing USA versus the world in the All-Star weekend, but what's his head will never let that happen. The bald evil guy, what the hell, Adam Silver. They'll never let that happen because they know the Europeans will watch them.
Yep. Oh. What do you got to say, Robin? And then we got Will here.
Yeah, just give me like a minute. I just wanted to touch on what he was talking about, the analytics aspect of the NBA and how these guys are playing the game, their approach to the game now. A lot of times you'll hear people talk about the players today are more skilled because of their ability to shoot the ball and their ability to handle the basketball, things of that nature. But what they're forgetting and they're underestimating is that the guys from the 80s and the 90s, they were big men, quote unquote, big men that could stretch the floor. The guys like Sam Perkins, guys like Detlef Schrempf, guys like Bill Laimbeer. A lot of people forget. When Michael Jordan set that three-point record in the first half of the NBA Finals by hitting those three-pointers, you know who he tied? He tied Bill Laimbeer for that. Bill Laimbeer, a 6'10" center. So once again, these guys could stretch the floor. The main difference between the guys back in those days is that they did not take 5, 10 threes a game. So what did that mean for them? That means they had to be more efficient. If you're only taking 3 or 4 3-points a game, you have to make those shots, because when we talk about the analytics, everyone today believes they're a three-point shooter, even when they're clearly not. So these guys are out there shooting 31%, 32%, 33%, and they think they're doing something when they're not. And this is what, look at the All-Star game. It's a microcosm of everything going on in the NBA right now. The guys I grew up watching could stretch the floor, and they shot the ball very good for big men. The thing about it was they didn't shoot 10, 15 threes a game. So they had to be a lot more efficient and make those shots. You couldn't just be out there chucking up threes. You would get benched.
All right, just as a sidebar, I saw this on the side and thought it was kind of funny.
The Bald Guys podcast.
I saw that too.
Let's do it, man.
But yeah, we got Will here. Welcome, Will. You hear us?
Yes, sir. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
3.
Okay. All right. Just
2, 1, go.
All right. I'll be real quick with this. The whole idea that people get confused about the game. I think that's really, really terrible part of the NBA and the viewership today is that people are more fans of the player instead of being fans of the game. Like I was born in 1989. I didn't get to see Michael Jordan in all his glory. But what I was able to do is be a historian of the game. My oldest brother, and that's one thing I respect about him. He always made sure that we knew the history of the sport, how good players was before the ones that we enjoyed in our time, right? And then I see today how valuable that was to me, me and my brother, that we was able to go back and actually dissect the game. That sounds like today, even NBA players seem like they don't have no idea what basketball was like before the year 2000. And I would just get y'all opinion about that. People being more fans of the players instead of the game.
Yeah, I'll answer that first because I do a show on Saturdays where it's mostly about a lot of old school stuff, and I think it's a big problem that people just say, well, I only saw this guy play when I was alive, so that means he's the greatest of all time. So
Hmm.
I don't think that's all the way fair to say. And I think there's a lot of people that get wildly disrespected. And, for the topic and for this channel, Michael Jordan will get wildly disrespected for things that just really don't make all the sense in the world. They don't take into context. This is the time and place. This is how they played. This is what it was. So and in general, even prior to that, people don't do that. They don't understand that when Bob Cousy's dribbling one-handed right on top of the ball like this, is that if he went and he turned his hand like this, it'd be called a carry. That's why they dribbled it
Hmm.
like this. It's not because he couldn't dribble it. In fact, I think it's 10 times harder to go and dribble the ball like this around the court versus carrying it all over the place.
Correct.
But yeah, that's all I got to say about that is that it's people wildly disrespect the past, and then
Right. And
being a player league, though, to your point, I think it's generally been a individual player league, at least marketing wise, throughout the history of the NBA. But it really took off with especially after the '80s, and the guy who took it farthest, obviously, was Michael Jordan.
And I just want to add one thing to that, just to let y'all know. Like I said, I didn't get to see Larry Bird out, but Larry
Go.
Bird is my favorite player of all time, right? I didn't able to see him play besides tapes and stuff here and there, but I was able to understand what he did and what he brought to the game enough to be like, yes, I mean, like, and I think anybody can do that if they bothered to do correct research in the sense of the sport, right? It's like I can't trust anybody who seen Michael Jordan play, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, and then still say LeBron James is the GOAT. How can you trust that person? It's just, but
Yeah, I don't know if y'all have anything to say.
Yeah.
But
I
we
just
got
wanted
a
to
couple
say
more
it.
callers in the back, and then let's shut this thing down. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, man, listen, you're right about that, what you're talking about. And this is what I talk about on my channel. The LeBron James fans in particular are only fans of LeBron James. And where's the evidence of this? Well, quite simply, when do you ever hear LeBron James fans give his teammates any credit? They never give his teammates credit. What do they always tell you? LeBron James carrying bums. LeBron James got no help. They always tearing down Dwayne Wade's knees were bad. Chris Bosh wasn't that good. Kyrie Irving wasn't that good. Who's Kevin Love? He's garbage. They never give his teammates any credit. So that shows you right there. They're only a fan of LeBron James. When I was growing up, I was born in 1980, man. I remember watching basketball from about 7, 8 years old, man. My father was a big-time basketball fan. He played basketball. We watched it all the time, man. The one thing I remember growing up, I can name all of Michael Jordan's teammates. All of these guys. I can name
mhm.
Bob Hansen and Scott Burrell and Stacey King and Will Purdue and Bison Dele. All these guys that no one ever heard of. The Cliff Livingstons, the Craig Hodges. I can name all these guys. And why can I talk about these guys? Because we all respected Michael Jordan's teammates and we all respected the role that they played on the Chicago Bulls. Even Scottie Pippen. And that's why we laugh when Scottie Pippen tries to make it seem like he didn't get his just due. Because all you got to do is turn the videotape, and all you'll hear is Michael Jordan giving his teammates their credit. So in turn, the Michael Jordan fans of other players, we always respected the role players. Like Larry Bird, for example. You brought Larry Bird. I never remember anybody tearing down Larry Bird by saying, yeah, well, Larry Bird played with Kevin McHale. Or anybody saying Kevin McHale was garbage, or Robert Parrish was garbage, or this guy was trash to lift up Larry Bird. No, what did they say? Larry Bird made the guys around him better. He made them greater. Kevin McHale was great, but he made Kevin McHale even greater. Robert Parrish was a good player. He made him better. Larry Bird maximized the players around him. We didn't tear down Larry Bird's teammates to make him seem greater or tear down Larry Bird's competition to make him seem greater. The LeBron James fans are not true basketball fans. That's why they take no time to do research on NBA's history. This is why they can't stand up and call into the show today and debate anything and dispute.
3,
They're just going to cry in the
2,
comments. They
1.
don't know the game.
Go.
Real fast. I want to just add, because I saw this comment. I'm pulling a Robin. I usually like to just save this for super chats or for VIPs. But this is the thing that kills me the most, is people saying you have to understand how to play basketball outside of having NBA knowledge. It's the appeal to authority. Gilbert Arenas knows more about the NBA history because he played in the NBA. It's not effing true, man. It's not. I want to curse so bad. This is so ignorant to say that just because you're a better basketball player, you know more about the NBA's history. It's like saying that, and I used this analogy yesterday. So if you want to learn how to play basketball, or you want to know all that stuff, you go and you talk to Gilbert Arenas. Or in respect to being a doctor or a surgeon, if you want to know how to do surgery, you talk to a surgeon, or you get taught by a surgeon. If you want to learn the history of surgery, that has nothing to do with doing surgery. It has nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, but this shit just, I want to curse more than that, and I let that slip. This is so stupid, man. This is
I'm
so
going to give you a perfect example right now. I got this guy in the comments. He said, go research what Pat Riley said about LeBron James. Does this fool not realize that Pat Riley retired Michael Jordan's number 23 in Miami, you goof? Why do you think LeBron James had to switch to number 6 in Miami? Because Pat Riley retired Michael Jordan's number 23 and called him the greatest player of all time when he retired the number. These guys are all over the place, man. You don't know what you're talking about.
I'm in Houston. I'm down to hoop whenever. That's what I'll say.
I'm sorry for that digression, but I hate these MFers. I really want to go in on these people and just blow this whole thing up with cursing.
I guess I should make a video of me
shooting. It doesn't
shooting
make any sense, man. Anyway,
Dart, this is the only industry where that stuff happens. Nobody says, oh, I like that movie. How can you say you like that movie? You never made a movie before. Like, this is the only dumb argument. Like, it's like, never mind. Because I know you don't want people swearing, so I'm trying to work that out of my system. Never mind.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm down to play.
I did it myself, but anyway, I'm sorry. It kind of just went off the rail, but that stuff just really just irks me when I see stuff like that. It makes no sense. Put yourself outside of the game of basketball and use some sort of comparison, some sort of metaphor. Does it still make sense? It absolutely doesn't. It's the same thing across all life. Just get a grip, people. Seriously. I'm sorry. It's really that stuff really annoys me. Anyway.
Yeah, and there's also tons of guys who are phenomenal athletes. Maybe go play D3 or something, community college or whatever. They don't know anything about the game of basketball, right? There's tons of guys like that. So, yeah, it's just kind of a weird. It's like a deflection, like you said. It's an appeal to authority.
Yeah,
I want to come back to that bald guy podcast thing though.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one. And I just want to say,
oh, it's cutting out, Will.
Cut out.
I appreciate you though, Will. Thank you. We got Rampage here. We'll do Rampage and then Jacked Up, and then we'll end this thing. Rampage, welcome, sir. How are you today?
All right, how you guys doing? Long
time.
Great. I'm gonna just make this real short. Like, man, they're celebrating. These LeBron fans, I've been on Facebook yesterday. They're celebrating an exhibition win, man. That they won by a point. An exhibition game that we won by a point. So, ironically, it was my cousin that said it, and I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, the 92 team was beating teams by 40 or 50 points, man. You're lowering the bar. You know what I'm saying? That's unacceptable. And on top of that, anybody could have made that shot. But since it happens to be LeBron, you guys are gonna blow it up. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we're talking about. You know what I mean? And every time something goes on with him, he always gets the freaking credit. You know what I mean? And it's annoying. It's freaking annoying. Like I said, I'm a Lakers fan. Eddie Jones was my guy. You know what I'm saying? Kobe wasn't really my guy till about 03, 04. You know what I'm saying? He earned my respect. You know what I mean? But back to the lecture at hand, like it's annoying, man. It's annoying. Like I just cannot freaking take it. You know what I mean? That is not basketball. You know what I mean? One guy gets praised, but then you can criticize everybody else. But then when you keep the same energy with him, here come the excuses. Like it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Then those same fans will get offended when we talk about nepotism and all that concerning his son being drafted to the team. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be a hypocrite about the nepotism. That happens everywhere. That's how people get jobs. I get it. But if you see it from the way somebody performs, I'm sorry, he doesn't deserve to be there. Period. You know what I mean? And what did I forgot what the dude just said. I saw the comment you just said. That was the most stupidest thing you could ever say, dude. Oh, can we see you hoop before we judge your basketball knowledge? So what? If I'm not nice at 2K, that counts too? You know what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. This is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Everything is always watered down to boost this man up, but then it's crazy because I think you guys have said it on the channel, if not last week or the week before that. Speaking of whoops, let me get to that for a second. Shout out to you, Sports and Fitness Rants. You whooped Gilbert Arenas' ass. Excuse my language, but you gave it to him. You know what I mean? You gave it to him because how can I put it? Yeah, you guys gave it to him so hard. Oh, he comes back to the show, but why didn't he show his face the next time? What's up with that, Gilbert? You know what I'm saying? Why didn't you show your face the next time? Now you want to comment? Get out of here, dude. He lying too, and he was in the NBA.
3,
And I think he
2,
don't really want to break the
1,
oath.
go.
But yeah, man, it's just as sickening, man. Like I don't understand it. Like I said, I'm a Laker fan. I only watched 3 games since this man's been on the team, and then they're like, oh, they're still a playoff team. This, that, and the third. Dude, we're only getting in because of the play-in. The bar has been lowered since he's been there. We gave away our future. Now we got a kid that I honestly think they're getting ready to build around this kid, his son. You know what I'm saying? I seriously do believe it. You know what I mean? Like, my thing is, we had I don't want to take up too much of your time, but we had Brandon Ingram and Randall and all those other guys, Lonzo. Why didn't we do that with them? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my first time on this channel, had we waited 1 year or two, we could have got AD for free. We didn't have to give up anybody. They were 4th in the league before LeBron got hurt. That says a lot right there. And I think they were top defensive team. But now you're going to do it with the guy that's a 2nd round pick. You know what I'm saying? That really should have been undrafted. And then he want to go on. They showing him on TV, fake crying and carrying on. Get out of here, man. Anybody can say your name. Your girlfriend probably says your name when you're on top of her. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't make sense, man. It don't. You know what I mean? Like, the bar has been just dropped tremendously, and it's not worth even watching. You know what I'm saying? I think this other guy said something about LeBron fans and Jordan are the same in terms of passion and all that, but no, it's not the same. Yeah, I know. I'm using up all the time. Using up all the time.
It's all good. I think we all more or less agree with you. So, but I appreciate your comments. It was great. We're gonna let Jacked Up on, but do you have anything
They have
else?
lowered the standard. My man, you said it right. I
That's
just want to
pretty
say
much
they
what I'm
lowered the
saying.
standard
It's the
for LeBron
standard.
James. You're right.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's the standard, man. But all right, fellas, y'all have a good one, man.
Yo, thanks for calling.
Yes,
all right, we got Jacked Up here. Jacked Up, how are you today, sir?
What's good with y'all fellas? Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, question to y'all boys, man.
Go.
What's up?
When they talk about, you know what I'm saying, like LeBron could play in any era. You know what I'm saying? So when you go to the 80s and the 90s, you know what I'm saying, the type of personnel they had back then. Me personally, I don't think he'd be good. Like if you put LeBron with like a 80s, 90s type personnel. Think about it. You had two, you know what I'm saying, big men in the paint. You would have him at the small forward. You have had a shooting guard and a point guard that, you know what I'm saying, orchestrator. So how would y'all think he would do with that type of personnel back in the 80s or the 90s?
But I want to. I've been on one lately.
Since they
I'll
could,
answer real fast.
since they say that he can, oh, you can just put LeBron in there in the era, which you can't, because the two big men, they was, you know what I'm saying, they was in the paint, and he can't do nothing when the paint is clogged. You already know that. That's why I think Joel Embiid, you know what I'm saying, having trouble right now with Team USA, because you know he's a
Different
big man,
rules.
he's a true big man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
Yeah, I mean, to your point, yeah, it's different play styles, different rules, different eras. I think that LeBron, because of his athleticism and just giving him the credit, I think he would have been a great player in the 80s. But to say that he would have been the best, I think is, I'm not saying you're saying this, but I think he would have been an 80s star. But I wouldn't, how people say, well, he was just so much better. People don't use the concept of, well, if he was born in 1970 or 1960 or whatever, however, wherever he was playing, it would have been totally different than today's game. But in respect to his athleticism, just playing the hypothetical game, if he had the same relative training and upbringing, I think he would have been a great player. I don't think he would have been the greatest player, though. But maybe.
I'd have him like maybe like a Dominique Wilkins type, but nothing more than that though. You agree or disagree to that?
Sure, something like that, yeah. I mean, somewhere. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say, my thinking, like, yeah, if Dart was saying if he came up playing, you probably stick him at the power forward. I think maybe that would be interesting to see. But in terms of strictly a small forward, I don't think he'd be as good as he is now with the ball out of his hands. Just to answer your question in a nutshell.
Yeah, for me, I don't think that when they say that LeBron James could play in any era, that's a completely false statement. Once again, they're trying to rewrite the history and bend reality because the reality of LeBron James' career has been what? He has not been able to adapt and
3,
adjust his game
2,
to fit into an
1,
actual
go.
system to allow the
Go.
players around him. If you don't stop that damn countdown, Dart, I'm going to kill you, man. He doesn't allow the players around him to fit an actual system. So when we talk about the 80s and the 90s, and we talk about the balance of the game, the guys who played the fundamentals, we talked earlier about guys going to college for 3-4 years back in those days, right? So LeBron James, with his ability to not make adjustments, not be able to play all ball, how the hell could he play in the 80s and the 90s? When we talk about LeBron James' style of play, banging into guys, using his off arm, using his shoulder, that play's not going to work in the 80s and the 90s. Because like you mentioned, the size of the guys that played, the toughness of those guys, the physicality of the game. A lot of these LeBron James fans, they don't want to come to the reality that this era has gotten softer and softer the longer LeBron James has played. So LeBron James at 6'9", 260, is allowed to use his physicality on the offensive end. Meanwhile, the guys are not allowed to use their physicality against LeBron James. How many times have you seen LeBron James go to the rim? He doesn't even get touched, and he goes flying into the stands. Flying into the stands. The players in the 80s and the 90s would have punched him in his face for those kinds of antics, man. His teammates would not respect that kind of nonsense. You think LeBron James is going to be able to point his finger and blame everybody on the team all the time and come to a post-game press conference and wear a soft cast and make excuses? No, they would have got into his ass in the locker room, man. He wouldn't be able to play those games with those grown men back in them day. So I don't see a LeBron James game fit in the 80s and the 90s. It just wouldn't work.
Robin, can you imagine, because we're close in age, can you imagine a press conference in the 80s or 90s where someone says, yeah, he had to get ejected because he used a word I didn't like? And I'm referring to the Draymond Green ejection because he called LeBron the B word, and that's why he was ejected. Could you imagine that happening in the 80s or 90s or 70s when they were calling each other anything? And this is like at the height of racism in the U.S. And
LeBron James would have been having those fans throw out the stands in the 80s and the 90s. These people are doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I remember the guy from, I believe it was the LA Clippers. He was right behind the Chicago Bulls bench, right behind Michael Jordan's ear, reading off excerpts of that book, The Jordan Rules, making fun of Michael Jordan, calling him a bad teammate. right behind the bench in Michael Jordan's ear. Michael Jordan didn't even bat an eye, man. Michael Jordan did it on the court.
So
There's that famous
sports and
quote that
fitness
Kobe
ranch, bro. Like
ignoring.
so
My bad. Go ahead, bro. My bad.
nah, so
So
sports and
let
fitness ranch. So
yeah.
so what do you think LeBron would average in the 80s and 90s? Like what you think his average would be?
All right.
Listen, to put a
After
number
this,
on
we'll
anything
wrap
is
it up.
very difficult. But for me, I'll say it simply like this. I do not believe LeBron James, if he played in the 80s and the 90s, has 4 MVP awards to his name. I don't believe he has 4 MVP awards. He might get one, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for calling Jacked Up. Do you have any thing you want to say to the people before we shut this thing off?
Nah, man, I appreciate y'all boys for, you know what I'm saying, letting me come in, man. Y'all keep doing y'all thing, you heard me?
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so this was a fun show. Ladart showed up. I just wanted to say, I forgot to say this, is that anything regarding the show has nothing to do with you guys. It all has to do with me as Ladart. All the stats, all of it comes to me. Anyway, as a sidebar. No, but yeah, I want to thank everyone for coming. Thought it was a great show. I think Scab Attack will be back next week. He had a personal thing going on. As well as others. I was thinking about inviting Dreamers Pro for next week. If I didn't do that, I didn't reinvite Johnny Arnett back this week. It's making sure everyone was going to be available was an issue that came up. Steam Engine is in a car wash or something. I don't know.
Well, I only unmuted to say, we should hit up Kwame Brown. Why not?
Yeah, I was thinking about hitting him up too. Yeah, but yeah, I should hit him up. But anyway, with that said, thank you all for commenting. Thank you all for the super chats, for the people that are in the live chat, and thank you for joining us. Robin, you have anything to say to people?
You know I got something to say to my people out there, man. Once again, guys, this was a great show. Shout out to my man Dar for always holding it down and putting all this stuff together, man. Dar, you have been amazing with what you're doing, man. Your networking skills, man, reaching out to people, getting everybody to come and join the panel, man. It's been outstanding. It's been amazing. Once again,
100%.
I'm truly humbled to be here with you guys. And once again, like I said, people coming to the chat, thank you for all the support you guys have been giving us, supporting our channels. Yeah, every once in a while, we got to deal with these weirdos, these knuckleheads. But once again, I keep hoping that one day they'll call up. One day they'll find the courage to actually call up and come at Nick or come at me or come at Dark or anybody else. Ayo Waits, whoever's on the panel, man. Shout out to Uncut Hoops again for coming through the chat, man. And once again, blessing us and throwing a comment in there. And once again, I am truly, truly humbled by all the support. Anyone that supported my channel, you guys know the deal, man. Much respect. We must continue to set the record straight, stop the lies, stop the narratives, man. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Matt, can you go on camera and just show what your hair follicles look like on the top of your head? I don't know if you're not, then it's fine. I just thought it was funny. Anyway.
Oh man, that's funny.
Oh, and shout out to my man Jim from Self Research Facts, man. I forgot he was in the chat.
I have see-through
He was holding
hair.
it down for us.
See-through hair.
Yep, see-through hair. It's invisible. I guess you have anything to say, Steam Engine?
Yeah, no, as always, I feel blessed to be on this panel with you titans of this side of YouTube, and I'm not saying that sarcastically. I truly appreciate it. Follow at Speam Engine. See if we can get that 35 followers to 40 followers, and then by next week maybe 50, and then just keep optimism going. That's
Absolutely.
it. I just end stuff awkward. Get used to
that. Nick, what do you got to say?
Nothing much, man. Enjoy it as always.
Absolutely. And for the people watching back, if you've made it this far, please go and subscribe to all of our channels if you're not subscribed to us. A showing from Ladart showed up. I had to go and just say that it's not LeBron's fault. But anyway, I want to thank you all for coming to the live chat, the super chats, supporting the channel, all this sort of stuff. And Michael Jordan fans are the best.